Hello, chat.
And we're live. What's up, chat?
How are we doing tonight?
How's it going? How's it going?
Where are we all
people
reporting
tripling it.
from?
Oh, it's up right there. Okay.
How are we all doing tonight? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Let us know if the audio sounds good or chalked. Excited for another live edition of Lobbing Scorchers. We're going to bring the overlord himself, I think, right?
Yeah.
We're going to bring the overlord himself, Jeremiah Oshan, on the show to talk some Seattle Sounders with us. We're going to check in with him on the first day of Seattle Sounders training. We're going to ask him about his first impressions of Paul Arriola, which he wrote an article about at Sounder Heart. We're going to talk some Kee-Hee. I think we're going to dive into a little bit of our takeaways from the discourse generated by our Ruidiaz buyout debate from the last show.
Yeah,
that seems to be the hottest topic of discussion. And I want to credit you guys. There was good discourse going on, good spirited discussion, but not toxic at all. A lot of people, some people, it was competing factions, Noah. There's some people who
they were joining the war on my side or your side.
Yeah, there's a war between us now. People are taking sides, which is kind of cool. But like I said, it's like a not toxic war.
Yeah.
And it's
a pillow fight.
Yeah, it's a good pillow fight.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that. I think we're also gonna hit some Jackson Ragen. There's a Jackson Ragen story on Sounder Heart today. About his thoughts on not going to USMNT camp. Don't be a crash out Chris. Exactly. People were not, and there was no crash out Chrising really. Maybe like a little bit, but definitely not on that level. We're going to talk about the new roster rule that MLS introduced. I'm sure many of you have heard about that. Cash for player trades. How will the Seattle Sounders use that new mechanism? And then there's like a lot of around the league stuff. I saw people in chat talking about Ruidiaz to San Diego links. We're talking about maybe getting Nico to impromptu pop on because I think he had the intel on that. But either way, apparently that's a thing. I just heard about that just now. So if you got any details on that, go ahead and let us know. Portland Timbys made a bunch of moves. Austin FC Driussi saga. FC Cincinnati is having some drama. Neymar to the Chicago Fire confirmed. Just kidding. And also, Robert Walker, thank you for the super chat. Ari, when are you going to join the Discord?
Oh, guys, it was a nightmare to try and get him on to Blue Sky. Having him figure out how to use Discord, that might actually kill Ari. Like I might kill you.
It's a lot of technology. I'm not like opposed to it. I just I do have Discord, believe it or not, and kind of know how it works.
Oh shit!
A
true gamer.
Between all the Slacks and the Blue Skies and it's just a lot. But I'm not opposed to it, Robert. That is a good reminder though. Thank you for the super chat, and we've set a goal, I believe, for 5 super chats. If you guys give us 5 super chats, I will do a bit about Atlanta at the expense of Atlanta United and the Columbus Crew, 2 of our favorite bit targets. And I have one lined up. So if you guys want to see that bit, we got to get 4 more super chats. And also, I'll say it again, guys. I will say it again. When I go back through these streams and I look at the chat, there's a lot that I just straight up don't see, either because they get scrolled past or maybe it just doesn't show everything to us. But if you want to guarantee that it gets seen and put on the screen, you can just super chat it, no obligation. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Jake, Neymar to Chicago is the hot rumor today. Don't think it's happening, but it was a fun little,
we'll dive into it.
We're going to get to that. How many super chats for Ari to do a TikTok dance on stream?
Well, they're banning it. Yeah, so
there is no TikTok.
There's
anymore,
no more
Johnny.
TikTok anymore. Yeah, but still follow the Lobbing Scorchers
Folks
TikTok.
Openly dissing me on Discord. Who's dissing me, and what did they say?
See, this is why I don't go on the Discord anymore.
Dissing me? What did I do? You were the one who was under fire.
What do they say? What are they saying F me for?
What did we do? What did we do to get dissed on the Discord?
Jesse's got the scoop in here. Jesse's stirring the pot. I love that.
All right. It looks like we got Jeremiah on the feed here.
Jeremiah can defend his Discord. That's what he can do.
Why don't we just pop him on in?
Jeremiah, are you ready? Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up.
All right. Here he comes.
There he is. Jeremiah Oshan, Sounder at Heart. Overlord, everybody. Oh,
There was no dissing on the. I think they were saying that you should be in there so that you can defend your Scorchers.
That's fair. There's no accountability. I can just get up here, pick up the mic, and cut loose.
But that's how we like it.
And then ignore the Discord.
Right.
Yeah. I was gonna.
And Ari was being dissed for not even signing up for the Discord. By the way.
Oh my. Okay, I'll take that. I thought they were dissing me, like, unleashing personal attacks.
No, there was nothing like that.
Soccer takes. Jeremiah, what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. Sorry, I got.
He's breaking some news over there.
Yeah, you breaking news?
Yeah, I'm breaking news from the Discord. No. Oh, yep. I apparently failed to hit publish on something I thought I hit publish on.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
I guess. What are you publishing? Give us the.
Oh well, no. It was our mailbag episode of No Sarietes. So nothing super exciting.
Okay, you heard it, folks. Go check out the mailbag episode of.
It was pretty good. I listened to it on the way here.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're getting into the weeds, but it was the private RSS feed version of that I failed to hit publish on. So, just the one that's for our most loyal listeners.
Well, thanks for joining us for this live show. We've got a lot. There's a lot of stuff to hit, actually, even though
let's do it.
Days ago.
Is that a new shadow box in the back, Jeremiah?
No, it's been there for a long time. I just always blur my background.
Okay. I was gonna say. I was gonna give you a shout out.
It's been there for yeah. I'm trying to clean up my background because we're trying to launch. We're playing around with doing video on Sounder at Heart. So got to have a better background. This is not the finished product. I want to be clear. There are boxes back there and mattresses.
It looks. I mean, there's a light. Ours isn't, we're not professional either.
Real quick, before we get into this Sounders stuff, I'll address this question. Any guesses on how you think the Sounders will rotate certain lineups for certain competition teams, or just general rotation based on sports science data? It's a good question, and we're actually planning on doing some lineup stuff later on in the stream. So we're going to get to that.
Dogs.
I want to bust out the little builder thing, share the screen, build some lineups, kind of fiddle around with how we think they might run it. Thought that could be fun. But first we got Jo for about an hour here. Again, appreciate the time. Derek Richards, thank you for gifting one Lobbing Scorchers membership.
Heck yeah.
Appreciate
what
you.
What does that mean?
Don't really know, but
another person is able to watch our content. Watch our exclusive content and use the emotes in chat, as well as you get a little badge by your name, and we see you and we'll say that's a member. And we're gonna read that person.
Derek is already a YouTube member, which is why he's able to do that, and that's what you guys should all do too. Frankly,
see, that's what me being dumb, not knowing anything, gave you an opportunity to pitch the product.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Should
we hop into it?
Yeah, let's just hop into it. That's enough intro. We got about 50 people in here now, so that's enough to get rolling. Jo, the first thing we wanted to talk to you about tonight, first day of Sounders training. Like the squad is back at it. They smell of grass at Longacres, kicking the ball around, getting some cardio in, I imagine. But we wanted to start with was your story about Paul Arriola that you put on Sounder at Heart. You dished some initial impressions of Paul Arriola. What did you see from him on the field at this first training? And then what was your takeaways from his press availability and why you ended up doing a little write-up on him?
So he didn't really do much on that first day, but I've been to 2 more days since then. So I have seen him train a little bit, and he looks sharp. I think he looks ready to go. He looks like someone who wants to sort of prove a point. And by the way, that was your guys' link that was auto playing an ad. So that's what that sound was. It wasn't me.
Oh, we didn't even hear it. You're good.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Okay. Well, there you go. Anyway,
sorry, we like money over here.
Yeah.
All right, and look, our camera's now going out.
Oh,
What's
no.
going on here? But anyway, he's looked good. I'll carry the show. Don't worry, guys. He looked good. I think he looks sharp. He's been playing mostly as a right wing back. the Sounders have been mostly running a like the first team, when the first team has been together, they've been running, I think, still a 4-2-3-1. But then the second team has been running some sort of 3-back formation. I think it's probably a 3-5-2, but it might be like a 3-4-3. And then today they were doing a bunch of drills where they were all running with 3 backs. And so there was 3 teams that were sort of rotating in, and they looked pretty good. And then the reason I wrote about Arriola was he just came off at, first of all, it was time to write about him. He's the new guy, and it seems like he has an interesting perspective. He shared about how his sort of ethos of playing, which is to be sort of an annoying pest, and he always sticks up for teammates, and likes to sort of doesn't mind being the bad guy for opponents. So he's the kind of guy who I think fans are probably going to end up loving. I think a lot of fans, I've heard from more than a few fans that are all annoyed about getting him, but I think they're going to turn around pretty quickly once they see him playing for their team. And I think he's the kind of guy who I think teammates love to play with and love to play and hate to play against. So
yeah, I've heard him described like that throughout his career, which he's been around for a long time now.
Yeah, I mean he's almost 30. He has this is what I was kind of shocked. He has 50 U.S. national team caps. That's
he does, and like 10 or 11 goals, I want to say.
Yeah, exactly.
10
goals.
That's great to hear. I'm excited to hear that he's being deployed as a wingback. That's really, we were talking about like what fit we see for him on the team, or what we think he could bring to the table. And we've been talking on this show about the need for an attacking fullback for a long time. And I really think that I've watched him play quite a bit throughout his career. He can bring that. Like, he's a very good crosser. He can get up and down. And I think the other big thing that you guys are going to notice about him is, and I think that will make him fit in really well on this team, is he's like a near Nico Ladero level freak when it comes to like just his running. Like he's one of the most fit guys in the league by my eye test.
And so, I'd kind of forgotten that he made his name sort of as a wingback too. Like that was how he was when he was, he got his start in Mexico at Tijuana, and that was sort of his MO, was that he was a wingback, and he hasn't always played wingback in MLS. He's definitely played some wing. He's played all over the place. I mean, he's sort of like a more accomplished Kellen Rowe. And I say that with all love for Kellen Rowe, who was a very good player in his own right, but I think he would probably admit that Paul Arriola is more accomplished than him. And so they're kind of similar players in that way. Also similar in that no one really liked to play against them, but they loved having them as teammates. So, I think there's a lot to like here, I guess is what I'm saying.
Would you start over Alex or Nuhu? I think it's
a little premature at this point.
Well, it's premature, but like, I think those are questions like when squad rotation and injuries and international duty come up, they tend to solve themselves. I do think, can he play on either side, or would he be exclusively a right-sided player?
I think he can probably play on the left. I would be skeptical that he can play left back in a 4-back formation. Like, he probably could in an emergency, but I don't think that's the idea of how they're going to use him. And he could play right back, and I guess there's a world where he competes with Alex at right back, but I'm frankly a little skeptical that that's going to happen. I think if someone's going to beat out Alex for right back, it's probably going to be Reed Baker-Whiting, who I should say has not really been training so far. He's been off to the side. Paul Rothrock, same thing. Both of them are still sort of recovering in the recovery process from the injuries that took him out of last year. And so my expectation is that they'll be back in full training by the time they go to Spain. And this will kind of work itself out. But no, I don't think the Sounders brought in Arriola to sort of replace Alex. But it's possible that if the Sounders play, with 3 backs, that he could effectively replace Alex if they play as a wing back.
Derek, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Appreciate you, man. Not exactly. What is
Ooh,
this?
super sticker.
is
I
a
don't even
super
know. That's
sticker?
we just unlocked something new.
We
I don't
unlocked
know.
something new. That's good to know. Thank you. Kim Kee-Hee, Jeremiah. We've heard the word that it's official. Can you confirm?
Yeah, man, that's why I reported.
That is what you
Fujian
reported.
official.
Can you confirm your own reporting? And then I guess, just what is your reaction to this coming about and Kim Kee-Hee making his return to the club?
I think it's a good move. I don't know this for sure, but my understanding is he is, if not literally the league minimum, he is making a very small amount of money. And I've seen a little bit of complaining that, well, if we were going to bring Kee-Hee in, why couldn't we just bring back Nathan? And the simple fact is that Nathan made like 5 times at least what Kim is going to be making.
Nathan was on a huge number. I don't think people like.
Yeah, I mean,
Nathan
looked fine. You know, he looked great in the last 2 games when he played. Those were the second and third games that he played all year, which is kind of crazy. Like he started the season opener, and then a combination of injuries and just where he was on the depth chart combined to keep him from literally. He didn't play in the Open Cup. Like he didn't play at all. So I appreciate the good feelings people had from him based on the way he finished out the season. But that was a lot of money locked up in a player who didn't play. And luckily the Sounders didn't really need him. And he was sort of a security blanket type. And it ended up being like probably a worthwhile investment. If that's what they had to spend to beat LAFC, I suppose that makes it a worthwhile investment.
Oh, easily.
But
no fee for Kim, correct? Free transfer.
As far as I know, is yeah. So my understanding of how this went down is, a former Sounder, he reached out to at least one former Sounder and asked them if he knew of any, if he wanted to get back to MLS. And I don't know. Well, I haven't heard anything from Kim's. I'm talking about it from this perspective. He sounded like he just wanted to get back to MLS. That word got back to the Sounders. The Sounders were like, well, yeah, we could kind of use a veteran center back if he's willing to play for next to nothing. We'd be happy to have him back. And the problem was that Ulsan, who is his Korean team, he's still under contract with them.
Yeah.
And so I think basically what happened was the Sounders had sort of were under the impression that it had already been worked out, that they were just willing to let him walk. And there was some question as to if that was actually true in the Nico Moreno reported yesterday, that the Sounders were all of a sudden a little worried that, I don't know, worried might be the wrong word. I think what happened was that the Sounders basically told Ulsan, or Kim's people, I should say, told Kim's people, like, look, if you want to come here, you got to make it happen now, or else we got to move on. Because the reality is that once you do all the paperwork and you do the physicals and do all this stuff, Kim probably won't even train with the Sounders until the tail end of, he might not even go to Spain. It might just be too complicated. He might not meet up with the team until they're back in Seattle in whatever 3 weeks. So the point being that if you bring in an international player, it's not as easy as bing bang boom, you join the team. There's got to be sort of there's just a time lapse that has to happen to get them ready. So the Sounders basically told Kim's people, look, if you're going to make this happen, you got to make it happen now. And I guess they made it happen, because today I found out that
the question for me with this, is just how much does he have left in the tank at 35? But if you look at his last couple years, he was actually playing pretty well. He was a best 11 player in that league
last year.
Literally,
I mean, he's been a regular starter for what is probably the best team in Asia, probably for the last 5 years.
So. I was just reading about their recent.
Ulsan's a real powerhouse.
Yeah,
and he's been starting for them for the last 3 years. They won the league all 3 of the years that he was the starter. So he is. I don't know if he's going to be peak Kim, but he's not some guy who's just here to sit on a rocker.
Yeah, no, as a depth CB on a league minimum contract, like you said, I think that's a good move.
I mean,
Is Kim the last signing for us this offseason?
This offseason maybe. I think the Sounders, the main hole in the in the roster right now is this U22 spot that opened up when they traded Leo Chu. And the impression I get is that they want to wait until the summer, maybe, or they're not in any rush, I guess, to fill this U22 spot. And with, the league now allowing cash trades.
We were going to get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get that.
Segue that?
No, we don't. I mean, whatever you can run your show however you want. But my point is that I think that opens up a whole lot more possibilities of where they might be looking to sign a player. And so I just think the Senators want to keep their options open. And frankly, there's not somewhere on the roster where you would expect a U22 to fill the hole right away anyway, right? Like, I don't know where that would be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask if you had like a personal preference on, like an initial personal preference on where they might or where you think they should allocate that spot. Craig Weib said that they were intentionally waiting because the coaches wanted a chance to evaluate the team and how it plays and then make that decision. But we can still pontificate and give an early take on that.
I mean, I would say to me, the shallowest position in the organizational depth chart is probably forward. Like after you've got, Jordan and Jesus, basically, and then you have Masovsky, who I am inclined to think that he's better than what he showed last year, but we'll see. But he's not someone that you would, if you get if you can move off of him, I don't see any reason not to move off of him. And then really after him, the next guy on the depth chart is like Osaze de Rosario, who is an interesting player at Defiance. He is the son of why am I blanking? Dwayne de Rosario, who is obviously a very successful MLS and Canadian player. And he's an interesting player. He had a bunch of goals for Guyana in international play, but he hasn't done a whole lot to impress me at Defiance. And, so you can, I think if you're going to spend some money, you may as well go spend some money on a potential number 9. That's me if it's my money. But I think there's an argument to be made that, especially if you're moving Josh Atencio to center back, and from what I've seen of him at training, he looks really good at center back. I understand why the Senators are doing this. I guess this is probably going to be another question, but I think if you're going to move him to center back, I think defensive midfielder becomes a more attractive position to look for a U22. So I guess those are a number 9 or a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, thinking about it more the last couple of days, I think there is no question that the biggest hole on this roster right now is backup striker. I mean, they're going into it with Moose again, and I tend to agree with you, Jeremiah. Like, I feel like last year for Moose was almost like De La Vega-esque, not in the injuries, but in the like worst possible scenario actually played out, which will happen 2 years in a row.
The LAFC guys had mentioned to us that he's like a type of player that needs minutes and like kind of cascades off of how he does, like a momentum player. And that he gets really down, and when his lows are low, he's low, and when his highs are high, he's high. And I just don't think that that's really easy when you're a backup striker. But
no, it's not.
Yeah. No,
and last year, and in his defense, he did not get very many extended runouts last year, and that was mainly the result of playing behind Jordan Morris and Raul Ruidiaz, who were both pretty healthy all year. And so the Senators didn't have a huge need for him. And, he looked okay, I thought, at times. I think the comparisons to Aber were probably a little unfair, but
yeah, he was probably a little worse.
I mean, he didn't underperform his XG as much. That's for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
True. I really like. I'm
just a hater. Okay?
You're just a hater. I'm just really. A hater. I haven't.
There's the anti-Rusnak brigade. I'm the anti-Moose brigade.
I haven't been big
here's
on
the thing about. Let me just say this about the anti-Moose brigade. The reality is that he's making about $350,000 to be the third striker on the team. There's just not that many third strikers in the league who are blowing it up.
True. But remember, this team used to be all about the depth 9s. Remember Chad Barrett, Kenny Cooper, and Will Bruin? I mean, they used to get goals from those guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, Jeremiah knows Will Bruin.
Yeah.
Who?
I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, Chad. I mean, and I will say, like the Chad Barrett and Kenny Cooper thing. That's fair. That was also 10 years ago.
It was.
It was a different. It was sort of a different. It was a different league, and that was that was great when they had them. Will was like more of a spot starter than a backup. All those guys got a fair number of minutes, I guess is my point. But
that's
whatever.
Fair.
Yeah.
Derek, thanks again for another super chat. You the man. Excluding Obed, any other players that may move?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I would think you got to look at Defiance. I think there's a good chance that, I know that Stuart Hawkins wants more minutes. This is a player who he's just 18, but I think he looks around and he says, what else do I have to do to get minutes? I think it would be a complete waste of his time and, frankly, the Sounders, if he gets stashed at Defiance this year and that's where he gets all his minutes. He's proven that he can play at the MLS Next Pro level. I would hope the Sounders are aggressively pursuing loans if he's not going to be the third or fourth. If there's not a path for him to get first team playing time, which there might be, he might go out and win playing time. So I don't want to exclude that possibility. But if we come out of preseason and he has an unclear role, if he's sitting behind Kim, if he's sitting behind Josh Atencio, if he's sitting behind John Bell, if they think Leo Burney is going to potentially be competing with him for the sixth center back on the team, who, by the way, Leo Burney looked really good, and like that guy's a beast. He looks like a Jackson Ragen clone.
I think he's going to play some this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, Stuart Hawkins is a player who I think the Sounders owe it to everyone to explore possibilities. And if someone comes in with a $3 million offer for him, which I don't think is a crazy idea, this DC United center back, who frankly does not have the resume of Stuart Hawkins, just went to, I think, Bournemouth for $2.5 million. If the Sounders get a comparable offer for Hawkins, I think that they probably have to consider it. So I would say Hawkins is a player that they probably would consider moving. And I guess technically he's a first team player. I'm trying to think who else maybe would be in consideration. I would say that's probably the second player. Reed Baker Whiting, I think, is someone who really needs to win minutes with the first team. I wouldn't say he's as likely to move because he's going to be out of contract at the end of the year. So the Senators have to re-sign him first. They have to figure out if he's worth re-signing, which I think he will be. I think that they probably are going to try to get him signed before maybe even before the season starts. But I suppose maybe Reed's on that list.
What about Cody Baker?
Cody Baker's an interesting one. I think he too could potentially be a player who they could loan. He's still young enough where you could kind of pitch that idea. It will be interesting to see what kind of minutes he gets. He looks good when he plays. I think the problem with him is that he's maybe a little undersized to be a center back, and he's not sort of offensive enough to be a modern fullback. And so I think if the Sounders are playing three center backs, he might actually fit really nicely as a third center back. But I don't think he's a wing back. And I think he's really only a spot start. Like I have a hard time imagining him beating out Alex or even Reed for backup minutes at right back. So I don't know. I think he's a useful player to have around. If they get offers for him, I think they should consider him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Stu Hawkins is a good shout there. I think they almost have to loan him out. I don't really.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's there. The worst case scenario to me is that he ends up logging 2,500 minutes at Defiance, because that's just like, what are we doing here? He's at an age where he needs to be playing, and he needs to be playing against real, genuine, high level pros.
One other one I'm interested in is Danny Leyva.
Yeah, my impression with Leyva is he's going to get an opportunity to sort of be a hot, like he's not going to be a starter right now. And I suppose again, if the Sounders are getting offers for him, if they're getting a $2 million offer for Danny Leyva, they'd have to take it. I don't know that that's something.
I don't think that's reasonable.
No, I don't think that's reasonable either. But I don't know how attractive he is on the trade market. I kind of thought he might be the guy who went to Dallas and he feels like a very Dallas type player.
Yeah.
Instead of Leo Chu. But I think he'll get some decent minutes with the Sounders. He's looked really, really good in the first few days of training.
He always looks amazing.
He always looks good in training, though. That's the thing. It's like he is like a player whose game is built for training exercise.
He's a practice god.
Yeah,
that's how I was too.
Okay, Jeremiah. The next topic we wanted to hit with you is this Jackson Ragen content that came out. I actually, Noah just told me about it before we went live, so I haven't read it yet. But I think that actually creates a good opportunity for those of us who are not in the know about this. It sounds like from the headline that Jackson Ragen was a little bit tilted about not going to USMNT camp. Is that accurate, or what? Tell us what's going on with that.
All right, so I'll give you the background of it first, and I'll tell it linearly. But my understanding of what happened is the Sounders were told at the end of the season that Jackson was probably in line for a January call-up, and they were thrilled about that. They were stoked. And so U.S. Soccer, the way that they oftentimes work with these things is they tell the player first, and then they sort of then they go and get approval from the team. And I think that's what happened here, where they basically told Jackson, like, hey, you're coming up to January, pack your bags. We'll see you in, I don't know, wherever they are, Miami or something.
Fort Lauderdale.
And that was a good guess, though, right? Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I was just this free shooting that. But anyway, so they tell him, and then they reach out to the Sounders, and they're like, all right, so we're going to call in Jackson. And the Sounders are like, oh, cool. We just need him back by the 19th. And the U.S. Soccer's like, well, we have a game on the 22nd. And the Sounders were like, well, that's your problem. That's not our problem. We need him back on the 19th. We're going to Spain. He's got to come to Spain with us. And U.S. Soccer's like, oh, well, forget it then. We don't need him. And so the Sounders then had to call Jackson. This seems like what happened is the U.S. Soccer was like, all right, well, you deal with that. And so the Sounders had to tell Jackson, like, yeah, sorry, you're not going to the camp. And so that was sort of how it went. And then today was the first time we had a chance to talk to Jackson. And I knew about this. And so I asked him how he's feeling. And he gave an honest answer. He basically said, I was stoked. I was bummed because he got called in last year and he had to leave camp early because he had hurt his knee against LAFC in the playoffs and basically didn't clear his physical with the U.S. national team. And so they sent him home. And so he was really bummed about that. And he had sort of set a personal goal to get back to the U.S. national team. He's a player who understandably, I think justifiably, feels like he deserves a shot to at least compete for a spot on the World Cup team in 2026. And on paper, I think that's a totally realistic goal for him. And so when he got told that he was going back to, he goes and has this great season. He's Defender of the Year finalist. He almost made the best 11 down the list. Right. And so he was stoked. He felt like he had sort of he had like completed his arc, his hero arc, and he was all into it. And so he said, I was disappointed. I'm frustrated. And yeah, I don't really want to, it's still a little raw. So I don't really want to say anything else. And so he essentially cut off the conversation. So we weren't really able to, I guess we could have pressed him on it, but we didn't press him on it to sort of respect. I mean, he literally said, I'm done talking about it. I don't want to take any more questions on this. I think those were the literal words he said, is I don't want to take any more questions on this. And so whether or not he's mad at the Sounders or he's mad at U.S. Soccer or he's just mad in general and he doesn't really blame anybody, he just doesn't like the circumstances, I can't tell you. But he was clearly like emotionally, like he's mad. He's genuinely mad, I think, about the situation. I can't tell you who he blames, but yeah, he's not chill.
I mean, I can't believe that U.S. Soccer appears to have mismanaged a situation. It's a federation that has a reputation for being like it's the
most level-headed.
It's a beacon of competence, and
Mm-hmm.
just every time they get it right. So
and I think sort of the thing that I think is very funny about this. Well, this part is not funny. It's a very similar situation to what happened with Jordan Morris during the Olympics last year, where the federation said we'd want Jordan for the Olympics, and Jordan was stoked and he was ready to go. And then they call the Sounders and they're like, hey, we need Jordan. And they're like, sweet, you can have him for a week before the Olympics, and then for as long as the Olympics go. And U.S. Soccer was like, no, we need him for 2 weeks before the games because this is an important tournament for us. So like,
that was so real, by the way. So important for them.
Right, exactly. And so he didn't get to go. And so the Sounders, I guess, end up being, I don't know. I don't know if Jordan was mad at the Sounders or what, but he ended up getting paid. So whatever. But yeah, so it's a similar situation. And I just think it's funny that, U.S. Soccer has the last year, going before the Olympics, they've been sort of going on this public relations thing where they tell everybody, we really want to work with MLS. We want to be partners with MLS on all this stuff. And we want to be good partners. And but in reality, what it is they want MLS to just do whatever they want. They don't want MLS to act like real clubs and look out for their own interests. They want MLS to just get on board and all be pushing in the same direction. But as soon as U.S. Soccer is asked to compromise even a little, like, I think it's a pretty good, to me, if I'm the mediator in this situation, and the Sounders are saying, hey, we'll let you have him for 10 days, and U.S. Soccer is like, well, we need him for 14. Who's the bad guy there, right?
Definitely the Seattle Sounders, obviously.
Right.
They're the
exactly. And I will add this little bit of context. So the U.S. is playing 2 games. I don't remember who they're playing, but the teams they're playing are not having full camps. They are basically pulling anyone they can get just so they can get a payday to play this game. These are like C-level teams of C-level teams.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, like, the whole thing is so dumb. And like, I feel bad for Jackson because someone pointed it out in the chat here. Here it is. He's the USMNT's best center back that's playing currently. Like, that's real.
He's definitely the best American, or the best MLS based center back. I don't know the pool well enough to say beyond that, but I think he's better than Walker Zimmerman and Tim Ream, who are the other two. And I guess might be Miles Robinson. I don't know. He's probably better than Miles Robinson too. Miles Robinson missed most of last year, didn't he?
Jedi's a bot, dude.
I would take Jackson Ragen over Miles.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that is I wish I could say that I'm shocked to hear that, but I'm not. Derek, thank you for another super sticker.
Shout out, Derek.
Still don't know what that means. But
Derek,
it's got a little sticker and it's like,
what's going on here?
Derek is Derek.
Does he have a business to promote
at this point? Kyle T, thank you for the $2 super chat. Jesús Ferreira is leaving USMNT camp early? ?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, U.S. Soccer actually put out U.S. Soccer is actually usually pretty transparent about this stuff. They put out a release. At first, I thought, whatever, they put out a release. I had it in my inbox. I just kind of missed it because I was working. But
hard day to work at the content mines.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll if you want, I can read the exact statement that U.S. Soccer put out. And
if you want to forward it to me, I can pull it up on the screen. And
yeah, I could do that. Look at that fancy. What? Oh, that's not that. I didn't forward. Sorry, I hit reply. I'm an old man.
While we're dealing with this, is there anything worth reading into for Ferreira release due to fitness issues? I hadn't heard that. Was that why he got?
Yeah, that's what it says. Is that it said that he was. Here's what it says. It says, after an initial medical and physical evaluation, Ferreira was provided an individual training program and will now join the Seattle Sounders so that he can focus on returning to full fitness. That's like a very shade. They're throwing a lot of shade, it feels like. And
they're saying he's fat.
I mean, I wouldn't.
They're basically just antagonizing the Seattle Sounders as a club. is what they're doing
They're
right
basically, yeah. So I don't know. You can read between the lines how you want. I suspect the Sounders were not that upset to find out that Ferreira is coming back. I mean, let's layer on another complicating factor. The U.S. plays these two games at the end of they've been training for 8 or 9 days. They play the first one, and then they train for a few more days, and they play the second one. And these are games that are, sure, they're friendlies, and like I said, they're against questionable opponents, but the chance for injury is real. Like these players are out there trying to impress coaches. This is, for most of these guys, this is maybe their best chance to be seen by the U.S. national team coaches. You think they're going in there and just jogging around? You think they're treating it like the early days of training with their club? No, they're going into tackles. They're fighting. They're doing all this kind of stuff. There is a very real chance that, early in their preseason process, that they could suffer an injury. So that Jesús Ferreira isn't up to that speed, I don't know. Who cares? I don't care. He doesn't get him up to speed in a month. He's got to, I don't, unless he's hurt, which there's no indication, by the way, I want to be clear. There's absolutely nothing in this release that suggests that he's actually hurt. They do seem to be saying he's out of shape, which I don't know, whatever.
That's shade. That's shade.
That's shade. But also
I don't like this. I don't like this Seattle antagonism that I'm hearing from U.S. soccer towards the Seattle Sounders. What the hell? All they're doing is trying to give them players that might actually help their really bad team.
It's unfortunately the federation is run by the bots, and the bots run the federation, and it's great for content, but I do feel bad because it's ridiculous.
I don't like it. Doesn't sit well with me.
This is why we're Canadian fans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Has Morris been assigned as a DP?
Wait, can I also just follow up one more? So it should be Jalen Neal, who, by the way, has a new team, and John Tolkien, who I believe just got transferred, also were released from camp. So it wasn't just Ferreira. Jalen Neal, they did note that he had a minor issue, and Tolkien is personal issues, which I assume means he's just.
So Ferreira's the only one that got shamed.
Kinda, yeah.
Has Morris been assigned as a DP just until the midseason window? Can we possibly see some impactful signing being made on the new FIFA transfer window right before the Club World Cup?
So I have seen this question in some form or another, like a lot of times. And I think what I keep telling people is literally the entire point of this, why this is news, is because he is a full DP. There is no, if they want to extend him and they want to create, there's creative ways where they could open up a DP spot, I suppose, by the summer. I'm not going to sit here and say it's literally impossible, but the whole point of this news is that Jordan Morris is a full DP. That is the news. It's not that he got designated as it's not like they just chose to give him a raise, or he earned a raise that pushed him over the limit. He is a full designated player, just like Albert Rusnak is, just like Pedro de la Vega is, just like Evander is. If we're just gonna, he doesn't make the same money, but it counts the same.
Yeah. Let's see, what do we got here? That window before the Club World Cup is only for free agents.
Should we do the? Sorry, you're driving today, Ari.
Okay, let's do this.
Here.
Let's do this Raul discourse.
Yeah.
All right. So Jeremiah, we're gonna have you weigh in here. Well, because we wanted to talk about it anyway, because it was probably the hottest topic of discussion from our last show.
Why are we still talking about this?
Because it was a good spirited debate.
Okay. Great, let's go.
Yeah, join in the debate.
You don't want in on the debate?
Yeah. I haven't spent the last 6 months talking about it enough. Let's fire it up one more time.
What's wrong with another seventh? We got to milk this thing until it's dry.
Let's talk about this next year too.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll bring them back.
Having this discussion during the season.
You are right that it is perhaps beating a dead horse, but I legitimately have never gotten your take on it for what it's worth.
on this show, you're right. If only I had shared my take anywhere else. But yes, I'm giving you a hard time, but let's do it.
Ari doesn't listen to any other podcasts. That's his point of
That's okay.
Okay, basically on our last show, I was making the point which I thought it was actually a new point that hadn't really been talked about on our show, at least. I mean, maybe on your shows. But I was basically making the point that I feel like...
Sorry, I got to interrupt you. Derek Richards with the super sticker of Raul Ruidiaz. Anyway, continue.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Derek.
Derek is killing it tonight. I was saying that the whole debate on whether he should have been bought out mid-season was getting a little oversimplified at Monday morning quarterbacked. Noah was saying that
I did listen
passionately clear that it was clear that they should have just bought him out mid-season. Where do you fall on the great Raul buyout debate of 2024 that we're having in 2025?
Yeah. I think you both actually I did listen to this, and I think you both had relevant points. I think that you're right, that it's not quite as simple as it's been made out to be, which is just pay the man and let him walk away. I don't necessarily think that the reasons that you gave were totally the reasons, though. I think really it was an issue of managing the locker room and managing sort of I don't know this, so I want to be careful, but the impression I get is it wasn't as simple as just paying Raul to walk away. And by the way, Noah is definitely wrong. They could not have paid him off and then signed him as re-signed him. That's not allowed.
You can do whatever you want. It's MLS, Jeremiah.
Right.
Come on.
That's explicitly is not allowed. That was not an option. But from a perspective of, could they have just paid him off and let him walk away into the sunset? Yeah, they could have. They definitely could have done that, and
they should have done that, is what you're trying to say.
And I think from a pure roster building perspective, it's hard to argue against it, because in the worst case scenario, not the worst case, but let's just say that they honestly, they didn't even have to buy him out. They had a trade with the New England Revolution that would have sent him to New England, and they would have been able to get him off their books. And it wouldn't even, so it's not even about money. That's the thing I think is so weird. It's not as simple as saying Adrian Hanauer cheaped out on this thing, because they had a way of getting out of his contract for free, essentially.
Which makes it worse.
And so I think that's where you get to this whole, they're managing a locker room. They thought that he still had something to bring. Now, there's a question as to whether or not they could have really replaced him if they had traded him. And that gets into money. And so I don't know, maybe that's part of why they didn't trade him, is because they had no real assurances that they could go out and sign a DP last summer, which I don't know if I don't really know when push came to shove, if they had an open DP spot, if ownership would have given them the budget to actually fill that spot,
or if they could have even we don't know what happened with that. Like, maybe they had a target that didn't pan out for that theoretical scenario. Maybe they're just wasn't what they needed available. That's just stuff that we don't know. So
something you don't know.
I mean,
Craig, where's Craig? You got his number. Add him in the call. Let's go.
I'll just say that I think that it was, I feel pretty confident that the hang up on this was some mix of managing personalities, managing a locker room that was, frankly, as good as the locker room was, I do think there was a fragility to, they didn't want to mess with the dynamics, because they had gone through some ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I think they had gotten themselves to a place where they felt like they were all in it together, and barring clear assurances that they were going to be allowed to replace Raul if he left, I don't think, and I don't know, it's possible that I can't tell you exactly why the trade didn't go through, and I can't tell you exactly why he finished on the team. I don't think I don't know. When you say, let me ask you this, Noah, when you say they should have done it, why do you think they didn't do it?
I think that I agree with you that I think that it was trying to manage internal politics, but I think that there was maybe a calculation of also they didn't have the money to sign anyone. Like if I'm gonna put it on two things, it was they didn't want to deal with the wrath of the players, which like may or may not have been there. Because I think he was pretty unhappy either way they sliced it. I don't think he's leaving Seattle super happy at the situation that unfolded. I think that's pretty clear from the reporting that's happened. But also, like, I think that, yeah, they knew they weren't going to have the money to go and buy someone else immediately, or they just didn't have the targets ready, or they weren't ready to make that move. And so they made the determination that he is better sitting on our bench doing nothing in case Jordan gets injured or someone else gets injured and we have to keep Jordan on the field in another position than, you know, the latter of he's gone, now it's just Moose and we have no one else as another backup striker. We're going to have to bring someone else up, you know, yada, yada, yada. So I think that was their calculation, which seems in line with the kind of moves that they make of just trying to be strategic about it and smart. And like, we had this plan, things are a little different. Let's just stick to it. And it's not going to cost us any more money to have him sit there. We've already paid the money basically.
Yeah.
And potentially he could be impactful. I don't think it was dumb that they did it like from that point of view, but I still think like they should have done it. That's my take. If I was Craig Weibel, I would have done it, but I am not him and I will never be him. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think they should have not, like, I'm not saying they did the right thing. I will say that it ended up working out in this way. Well, it would have created an interesting situation this offseason, because if they had bought him out and replaced him with a DP striker, there is a possibility that Jordan still hits his escalator. Now I think he had 33 combined goals and assists, so he would have had to lose 4 goals essentially.
Yeah.
And that's possible. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it would have happened or it wouldn't have happened, but let's just say he did. And now you're in a situation where all 3 of your DPs are filled because you have this new guy. And now you're going to Albert saying, hey, we don't have a DP spot for you. Are you willing to come back on less money? And maybe he is. I don't know if I don't know if, you know, these are a lot of dominoes that would have to fall. I don't know if you end up with Jesús Ferreira. You might not end up with Albert Rusnak either. And now you're having to replace Albert. Like, who are you replacing Albert Rusnak with at this point? I guess. Pedro?
I don't think that it's true that you don't end up with Ferreira. I think there's still a potential that deal gets through. And I think that like your replacement for Albert Rusnak might be Ferreira and he might be on a DP, which might be different. Like, I also think that there's a possibility that they had bought him out and just kept that DP spot open, looking forward towards the winter, knowing that Jordan has an escalator, knowing that they might need to sign Raul. Well, you might be in the same exact situation. You know what I'm saying? But I think that my argument towards it was like, it gives you the flexibility if you do find that person in that window that you're like, you know what, we're going to make this 9 signing. We're going to make this.
I think you're underplaying the full blown disaster that it is. If you buy out Raul and then you don't replace him, you look like a complete idiot.
I mean, maybe, but he wasn't doing anything, you know.
I mean, he scored. I mean, I will say that I don't think the Sounders get to where they got I don't think you can say they would have got to the Western Conference Finals if he doesn't convert those 2 penalties in the shootout.
I mean, sure, but I don't know. I mean, like, true. He played a part, but I don't think that, like,
I guess what I'm saying is you can't take it for granted.
I do think they could have gotten there without him.
Maybe.
See, we actually, I feel like we actually got some good content.
Splitting the difference.
Sure. Great.
Glad we did it. Let's move on to. We wanted to talk.
We'll make sure to reach back out next year at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. We're
when Albert has an MVP season, we'll talk about how
maybe that'll be the retirement of the great Raul buyout debate of 2024 that we're doing in 2025. couple people in chat.
Send the horses to the glue factory. We're doing it.
Okay, we wanted to talk to you about this new roster rule. Noah, do you see the link I put in the top?
Yeah, I'll pop it.
MLS introduces a new roster rule: cash for player trades. This is a new can of worms. So we're gonna pull it up on the screen here and lay down exactly what this means. Then we're gonna talk about it. All right, where does it say what this means? Cash for player trades. MLS clubs may now use an unlimited amount of out-of-pocket funds, cash, to trade for players, allowing MLS clubs to acquire talent from within the league without having to use general allocation money or other assets such as super draft selections or international roster spots. Creates additional opportunities for top talent to remain within MLS while creating another pathway for MLS clubs to generate significant revenue on player movements and further incentivizes player development. Jeremiah, what was your reaction when you heard about this new rule? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a good move. I think, and I will say that all the moves that got announced, this wasn't the only move. This is the most important move, I think. But all the moves, all these roster rule updates that they released, I think are all good. I don't have honestly any misgivings about any of them from a competitive, or I think they improve the league on each one of them. But this one in particular is going to be interesting. I don't know how often it gets used. It'll be fascinating. You know, I know Taylor Twellman has sort of hinted at there's a couple potential big moves that are already lining up for this. And so who knows, maybe this ends up being a huge deal on the internal market and players start moving on a regular basis. I tend to think that this is a move that will be, or a mechanism that will most often be used by the same teams that are willing to spend a lot of money on the transfer market. So, you know, LAFC, Cincinnati, Atlanta, Miami, you know, the teams that have money, the Galaxy, the teams that have money are probably still going to be the teams that spend this. Where it's more, where I'll be really interested to see is how often this gets used on players who aren't DPs and who aren't U22s. Because, you know, I've heard the suggestion that there's no reason to use it on those players, but, you know, we see non-DPs come into the league on transfers all the time. So I don't see why that wouldn't be the case here as well. But I do think it's good, and it'll be interesting to see how it works. I think specifically it's designed for situations like Chicho Arango, who had to leave the league, and then another MLS team had to pay, you know, whatever, $6 million to bring him back. That's just like poor resource use.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what they want to avoid, is situations like that where players are moving just to get a payday when they could have just left. We could have kept that $6 million within the league. So.
Yeah, it seems like it could lead to more high profile player movement. Like you were saying, like the players that I've seen floated that could move under this so far are like Evander, Lucho Acosta, who's like holding out or whatever in Cincy right now. So it could be exciting from that perspective. And you're right. Taylor Twellman did tweet that it was something to the effect of there's going to be like some earth shattering movement like between now and when the season starts. So
right.
We'll see.
I think you should read this comment.
Did they seriously not call this monetary allocation money? Gam Tam, thank you, man.
We will be calling this ma'am from now on, I think.
Ma'am, it's like how Cartman says
monetary allocation money. I love it. That's good.
Danny Leyva would be perfect for this new rule. I mean, you'd have to have someone who wanted to buy him first, so there's your problem.
I don't know that this I don't know that this is that perfect for him, but like, because
you're actually wrong.
Oh, no, maybe it could be. I take it back. It's I could see a world where a team might be more willing to spend $1 million of cash versus $1 million of allocation money. Like, no one's going to pay $1 million of allocation money to get Danny Leyva, but the Sounders would absolutely accept $1 million transfer if they could just convert. They would probably accept it if they could just convert it all into GAM anyway. I mean, that'd be a pretty slick piece of business.
And they could take that $1 million and convert that into one more concession stand open at Lumen Field for 4 games. So that would be
they could convert it into GAM is what they could do.
All right, Jeremiah, we're pulling up on 9:00. If you're good to hang around for a few more minutes.
I don't have I do need to get my kids to bed soon, but I'm happy to hang around for a couple more minutes if you
okay.
If you want to get anything else.
Chat, we got Jeremiah for a couple more minutes, so if you got any
while we're here though, while we're waiting for any more questions, the rule that I am most intrigued by that just got released is the expansion of the off-roster what is it called? Non-roster player?
Off-roster homegrown changes.
Off-roster. Okay, so there you go. I think I think this is a great move because what it does, so previously, people may or may not have realized this, but previously there was a designation on the senior roster where you could be signed to an MLS contract, but you were essentially not allowed to play games, but you didn't count against you didn't count against the roster limits. So you could have an unlimited number of players in this off-roster designation. And at one point, the Earthquakes had like 6 or 7 guys signed to the contracts like this. But with the Sounders, Stuart Hawkins was on a contract like this. And so what it meant is that if the Sounders wanted to use him, whether it be for an MLS game or for a Open Cup game or for a Champions Cup game, they had to sign him to a short-term loan, and they were limited by how many short-term loans they were allowed to sign him with. The Columbus Crew most famously got into a situation where they had no more ability to call up short players on short-term loans. This would not have fixed the Crew situation because the Crew would have had to sign these. They still would have had to sign these guys to senior contracts. But for a player like Hawkins, who was on an MLS contract, they could have used him 6 times without any sort of penalty. Similarly, it allows them to put a player like Leo Burney on the off-roster designation, and they can still play him 6 times. So it does effectively extend your roster a lot, where you can sign a bunch of homegrown players to your first-team roster and not feel like, and so you can use them for other competitions and whatnot. And so I think this is potentially a big deal because for a team like the Sounders, who are going to be playing in a bunch of games and they would like to extend their roster a bit, it gives them a lot more flexibility.
The Patrick Schulte Memorial Rule. I was going to call it the Columbus Crew Rule, but yeah, that's that's a good name for it. Kyle T, thank you for the $5 and the $2 super chats. Jeremiah, how has Pedro de la Vega looked in training so far?
He's looked good, fine. I don't know that he has been he hasn't been a player that's necessarily stood out huge to me, but he hasn't looked bad. I think it will be interesting to see how he looks fit. I'll say that. That's a good start. That's a good start. The players that have most stood out to me at training, João Paulo looks considerably more fit than he was. In fact, today he told us that he feels better now than he has at any point since his surgery. So that's a good sign. I'd say.
The JP resurgence.
He's out to prove me wrong. He heard my damn podcast take and he said, Noah, I'm coming for you.
That's why he took a pay cut.
Yeah,
exactly. And some people might appreciate this. He's been wearing black boots at training. And I asked him about that and he said the black boots are back. He had not.
They are back.
He said the black boots are back.
He actually said the black boots are back.
He needs a shirt. He needs a shirt with that on it so that like if he scores or something, he can pull it up and like be like black boots are back.
Yeah, exactly.
Triple B boys, black boots are back.
So I thought he's looked good. I think Danny Leyva has looked, like I said earlier, he looked good. I think I also said Leo Burney has looked. He looks like seriously, he looks like a Jackson Ragen clone. I was going to ask Jackson if they've actually stood back to back yet, just to measure each other. But after the interview turned a little tense, so I didn't know if that would work. But who else has looked good? Arriola has looked good. Georgie Manungu, I'll say, I think he has been probably the standout at training. We talked a lot last year about how he had it all except that final product.
Yeah.
And if they're keeping score on who's scoring the most goals in training, I got to think Manungu is leading because he's just banging in goals left and right.
He's also DK Metcalf yoked.
He is absolutely yoked. We were talking about that.
Hold on, I'm pulling up his Instagram.
He is ripped, dude. ripped.
Pull up Georgie's Instagram.
I'm pulling it up. Hold
Any
on.
of you all going to Spain? I wish.
Next year, maybe.
Next year when Lobbing score. If you guys hit us with
wait. Here's a
4,000 super
perfect time
chats.
to shill. All right, look at this. All you gotta do. Wait, take the comment down. Shit. Here we go. Look, you can join Sounder at Heart. Scan the QR
what
code.
would the GoFundMe? What would it take to get the GoFundMe up to? What do we think it cost to send you guys to Spain for a week?
Probably a lot.
I don't know. Well, no, we could stay in like a hostel or something.
When do they leave?
When do they leave? Yeah, we could make it.
Sunday.
Coming right up.
But yeah, sub to sounderheart.com/ls. That's our pitch right there. But
Georgie breakout year.
Sorry, let me pull up
like, end page. We talked about the Jackson Ragen interview like a few minutes ago. If you go back, Jeremiah explains it. It's good content. You're gonna want to see that.
Oh, did he not? Here we go. Here's the video.
Who's not looking good.
No one's. I wouldn't say. No one has concern. There's no one. I've been like, ooh, yikes! He looks like he's in trouble. Georgie, look at this boy. Yeah, he's a good. I think Georgie
is the first part though. Wait, is it this one? No.
This is
look at that, dude.
His IG is like
at the risk of sounding.
Look at that. He's yoked.
This is getting me excited for the year of Georgie.
The thing is about Georgie, and I hate to say this because I'm sure people hate to hear it, but if the Sounders had spent, I don't know, $4 million on this guy, and he did exactly what he did during last season, which is to say he had moments where he looked unstoppable, but he didn't really, he had a goal.
Dude, look at that.
But people would be over the moon excited about this guy. And I think people are excited about him, but I think it does bear repeating that the Sounders deserve some credit for getting him before, they seeing something in this guy. Like I want to say they paid $500,000 for him, which is not an insignificant amount of money, but certainly is a lot less than they would have had to pay for him if he had been coming off a season, like just a handful, like whatever, a half dozen performances, a dozen performances like he had last year.
He's getting ready, guys. He is getting ready.
Year of Georgie.
He's going to be ready to tear it up. Joe, thank you for the $4.99 super sticker. Still, I'm not entirely clear on what a super sticker is, but
it's a little guy. It says "keep it up," and it's a dude working out.
Derek, you're the man. You've been just bringing it all night. Appreciate you.
We've hit our goal. We've smashed our goal.
Where did we get Georgie from? Where'd they get him again?
From this team in Chichia. He's from Ivory Coast, but he came from Viskov or something like that, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Some team in Chichia.
That's good to hear that he's been a standout at training. That's what we want to hear, because I think we definitely were with everyone who was very intrigued. You really like can't not be intrigued watching him play, just the way he's able to take guys on 1v1 and win his 1v1s. Like, it was so refreshing to watch a Sounders winger do that, like, with relative consistency, any last questions for Jeremiah? We're about to cut him loose, guys. Get him in.
Hit super chats will be read first.
Super chats will be read first.
Jeremiah, while we wait, do you have anything to shill?
Yeah, shill everything.
Subscribe to Sounder at Heart. Listen to No
Sadietes.
It's good good synergy, I suppose, that we have here in this way. I think we're gonna do we're doing it looks like we're gonna be doing a beer collaboration with Fast Fashion near the beginning of the season. We might have a release party with them. It's pretty funny, actually. They just did a collaboration with Sean Kemp and Gary Payton, where they actually showed up at their beer release party. And then I think the next one they're doing is with us. So it's like, basically, we're on par with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp.
Yeah.
Real.
That's basically,
yeah. What are you going to do?
Reese, we are going to talk about Neymar. Don't worry.
We'll talk about
probably
Neymar.
Not a lot, but we are going to talk about it. But we'll let Jeremiah go before we get into that one.
Shoot, I forgot to send the link out here.
Which link?
I forgot to tweet it out.
Oh, no worries.
That's all good.
Who's got the cutest infant? Do you mean on the team or like on the?
I've got like 4 of them just that I just keep around.
Who's got the cutest kid on the team?
I think Jeremiah would win. I mean, even though I don't think your kids are infants anymore. You know,
They are definitely not infants
because we don't have them, so it's just
they're like 8 and 12, which are way beyond infant.
That is beyond infancy.
They're like
sometimes I wish I was an infant. You know,
they're like talking back. They're like wisecracking.
They're like, Dad, I can't believe you would write about Rusnak being good again. They're actually running.
Are they brigade? Are they brigade members?
Yeah, exactly. They're like lighting me up. Dad, you're such a Osham. People call me Osham at the at the playground.
All right, we got 2 more for you here, Jeremiah. Brando, has the new facility helped get JS? I think Jesus get JS and Paul to Seattle in any way or input into it. I don't think like specifically, but I think like in general that was part of the idea was to just like I don't know, like Starfire had character, but it was
that place was a shithole. Let's be real.
It was past its time, and you know, like if you got ambition, right?
Oh,
if you've got ambition, you have a state-of-the-art training facility, right? And then, you know, maybe more like players do become more inclined to come to your club.
Yeah, I would be reluctant. I kind of think that FC Dallas had an okay training facility, but I think it's more the whole package that attracted Jesus and Paul is the idea that it's a winning organization, that it's a cohesive locker room, that they have a first-class training facility, that they play in front of good crowds, that they have an engaged fan base. You know, I think it's all that stuff, and for sure the training facility is part of it. But I think the training facility piece is almost the table stakes more than it is the selling point. It's like you can't even have the conversation with some of these guys if you're at Starfire. Like they don't even want to hear it. They were literally weight training in a tent during the last couple years at Starfire.
How are you going to sign the Euro superstars, you know, when they're training in a tent? Like,
all right, last one, then we'll let you go, Jeremiah. Roca asks, you guys know more about the inside of the club. How does our scouting team work? I think sometimes we're missing a little bit on creativity. I miss the innovative Sounders that we once were.
Isn't the scouting team the same?
Yeah,
I mean, Nico's sort of gone off about this a few times. It's effectively the same scouting network, same scouting team that they've had. The difference is they just don't have as much. I think if there's a criticism of Weibel, it's that he has not been as effective at being able to get ownership to open their wallets for transfers as Garth was. And I don't know that there was a fundamental difference in, obviously Joe Roth leaving ownership Joe Roth was definitely a pressure point to urging the Sounders to spend more money. He also stopped being the majority owner in 2015. So most of the Sounders' modern success has happened post Joe Roth being the majority owner, but he was still involved until 2019. And I don't want to discount the soft pressure. I mean, he still had 30% of the ownership or whatever. So I'm sure he was applying some pressure, but I think really the credit probably deserves to go to Garth in that he was better at pitching and basically forcing ownership's hand to say, I need this money and this is how I'm going to spend it. But I mean, Sean Henderson was one of the lead scouts. Chris Henderson is obviously gone. Robbie Remanini is gone, but the people that have replaced them, I think, are certainly competent. And I think really the main difference is just how much money they have to play with. All
right. On that, we will let you go, Jeremiah. Thanks so much for the time again. We always appreciate it.
SounderHeart.com/LS. Go listen to Nos Arietes. The new one is good. I just listened to the mailbag app. So
listen to Nos Arietes. Subscribe to Sounder at Heart. Follow Jeremiah on all socials, and Jo, thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one. That was Jeremiah Oshan, Sounder at Heart Overlord. Always appreciate him coming on and giving the inside scoop on what's going on with the team. You know, we have Nico Moreno come and do that sometimes. Got Jeremiah on here. Got a good little squad. Yeah. Fire up.
We're hitting, because we're gonna have to shill here.
Yeah, you want to shill? Take a little shill.
Yeah, you finish your
I was
sesh,
just talking about nothing.
There we go.
Go ahead and chill.
Well, hey, thank you all for watching this far. We've still got more to go in the show. I picked a different one. I don't know. This is kind of banging. We'll start off with our first shill here. We've got MLS Store. Of course, new jerseys are coming soon. So maybe you want to bookmark this link. But in the description, or if you hit this QR code down here, right there, we get a cut of all purchases that you make on MLS Store. They're always running deals. They're always doing random shit. So check that out. We'll promote more once the new jersey comes out. But if you want to support, that's a great way to support. Another great way to support is just like what Derek just did. Toss us a little super chat here. What are your favorite bars on Capitol Hill? Ari, go for it.
Man, I mean, Linda's is like my all-time favorite bar, like anywhere, I think. But like back in my rowdier days, we would go to. Well, I mean, we'd go to some sushi bars. We used to go to. Did you ever go to? You might be too young for the Rhino Room era.
I've never been there.
Yeah, that was the okay. I'm not like proud of the fact that I went there, but yeah, probably Linda's. And then trying to think what else? Oh, Montana's is pretty cool.
Montana is fine, but just a little bit up that block, about 2 doors down, is Revolver. I have it tattooed on me.
That's how much he likes
So I love Revolver, but I also honestly, Linda's is genuinely, I think, the best bar in the entire world.
It's so good. Like, and oh god,
the chicken strips. We should do a live pod from Linda's, like in the summer.
If they sponsored us, I would die happy.
Yeah,
I love that place.
Well, we'll continue our shill. What else do we got here? A couple more. I'm really good at this. There's still donations if you want to donate to the LA Wildfire Relief. QR code. Click the QR code. Scan the QR code. You can pause it, scan it, take a picture, think about it. They've surpassed all their goals, and we're just keeping pumping on that. Another one, and a great way to support us is become a member. Join. All you got to do is hit that little join button. It looks like that. It's down right below. You get these cool little emotes like the Paul Rothrock and the Brian Schmetzer emote, as well as 2 of me and Ari. And it directly helps us go to Spain. That's our new goal, dude. I just want to go to Spain.
Go to 2026 Spain trip.
There we go.
That's what we're raising money for. Anything else to shill?
Sounder Art. We already did it, but sounderheart.com/LS. Another great way to support the show.
Hear the rumor of the Bogus transfer? I did. It sounds like he might be going to Cruz Azul, which it would be nice to not have him on LAFC anymore. But I mean, they're gonna get a bag for that kid. Like it's it's chalked. Like they're gonna have so much money after they make that sale. He's extremely good. Derek, thank you again for
Derek.
Another membership. You the
shout
man.
Out.
You the man. No, okay, so we've hit our 5 super chat.
Yeah, you got to do the bit now.
So should I do my bit? All right,
yeah.
I need to forward you, I think, something to.
Okay, I'll pop it up.
I don't share my screen. And then I'm gonna.
Or you can paste it in the doc.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna do that. Where did I? What?
Or you can forward it to me. That's cool too. Linda's is dope. It does have good food.
Oh, here we go.
Love you too, Roca.
Okay.
Selling out to afford the roast and action. Yeah, we're gonna personally buy out Albert so he will be a co-host on our show. That's actually our goal here. That's our real goal. How'd you know?
Come on. Sorry, I'm trying to
entertain
my bit here, but it's This is going to be worth it, guys. This is going to be super worth it.
What team or league do you want Obed to go to? Me personally, I'd love for him to go to like the championship or the Prem, but I want to see him play in the Prem long term. And I think that did you text it to me?
I tried to drop in the dog. It didn't work. I'm just gonna forward.
Okay. But I think he would do really well in the championship, and I think
championship. I don't think we've talked about that possibility yet.
Well,
I've been saying Bundesliga because
I think
feel
the
like
Bundesliga would be
technical midfielders.
Yes, the Bundesliga would be perfect for him. I agree with that. But they were asking where I want to see him go.
Okay.
I want him to go to the championship because I think that he could really ball out. And that's like from the championship, you can basically go anywhere. If you ball out in the championship, I think that, you could go to La Liga, you could go to the Prem, all of this stuff. And I think he could literally play wherever he wants. I really do think he's that talented. Specific team? What specific team would you want? Dortmund?
I was gonna. That seems like that would be fire.
It would be fire
because they're so known for their like player development. So
La Liga makes sense. La Liga.
Cool. La Liga does make sense.
I would love to see him at Atletico Madrid. Oh my god, that would be like
that
my
or Dortmund
dream.
That would be the dream. All right, did you get my
I'm pulling it up now. Here we go.
Okay, folks. This is something that I made in honor of the which one is this? Oh yeah, so this is I made a couple of gifts for our friends at the Columbus Crew and Atlanta United. This one I think this is the Crew one, I'm pretty sure. So Noah, pull it up. I'll explain what it is.
Okay, hold on, folks. Hold the line. We're really good at this.
This is good technology, good content. Okay. This is the Columbus Crew probably would have won CCC, but might have gotten poisoned trophy.
Oh, there we go.
They don't award a trophy for this. But I didn't, I figured that, it was time to rectify that.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of discourse about the fact that, they made it to the Champions League final and couldn't quite get it done. May or may not have gotten poisoned. They weren't awarded a trophy for that at the end of the tournament. Took it upon myself to make them one. That is really painstakingly made with AI. You can see like the letters that I plugged in. Like,
I think we should just buy this. I think we could totally buy a trophy.
So like the letters came out all screwed up on the AI, but I thought that it looked better.
Yeah, that is what they deserve. I'm sorry, that's what they deserve.
So anyway, that's going on the trophy case tracker in the ambition ratings. So that will that'll no doubt put them a little bit higher. I have another one for Atlanta United that I made, but I'm not exactly sure where I put that. But it's a pretty good one. Might have to get to that one later. But anyway, that is yeah.
I'm just trying to find a trophy online.
New Minute is very much AI.
Why is there no trophies on eBay? Oh, here we go. Look, we get $800 random Swiss sterling silver trophy. Let's place a bid.
Damn it! I really want to find my other one, but
got to make a trophy called the coin flip cup.
I'm forwarding this to
you. Okay. Ari learned how to use AI.
This is a good one. You guys this is worth it. This is gonna be worth it. So I this one is for it's inspired by Atlanta United. I also noticed that it turns out that you don't get a trophy for being the most ambitious club.
No, you're lying.
You don't get one for that.
Joking.
They don't award that.
No, that's not true.
They don't award that. That's not a thing.
I was told that ambition equals trophies. Therefore,
the thing about the ambition discourse and debate that I haven't really understood is okay, you're ambitious. You're ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like? What do you want? You want a cookie? You want a trophy? I made you both. This is the Carlos Bocanegra most ambitious club trophy. Lobbing Scorchers is gonna award that. Look at the AI on this one.
This one's great. Yeah,
it's kind of nice, right? We're gonna award this one every year to you don't have to win anything like tournament wise to get this. You just have to spend a lot of money. and you now get a trophy for that. Because I needed to rectify the situation.
All donations and subs going forward will be going towards building a cookie trophy. The Carlos Bocanegra in memoriam most ambitious club trophy. We will be building
Honestly,
it.
I'm not gonna lie. The AI on the crew trophy, I was like, what is this? Like, that's so bad.
That's all they deserve, though.
But well, yeah, exactly. And then I was like, it actually is a better bit if it's like shitty and
Yeah,
you can't see the letters. But then this one looked like, I think that actually looks good.
Yeah, it looks all right.
Yeah.
Looks all right.
But anyway, so those will factor into the ambition ratings, and the Columbus crew already got the would have won Champions League almost, but potentially got Poison Trophy. They already won that. We're gonna award this one at the end of the year. All right. That was my bit for the 5 super chats. So I really hope that was that's pretty good content.
That was pretty good. No, I'm proud of you for that. You dove into.
Did you see how I used that AI?
Yeah,
you're like that?
You're really technologically advanced.
You like that technology?
Even your boomer Facebook grandparents can use it, folks.
All right. Let's keep it rolling here. We're good. We're going to be hanging out for a little bit longer. We got some other stuff to get to, more league wide stuff.
Yeah. What about the Wrestling Enthusiast Club trophy?
Oh, Brando's right. We're gonna have to. Thanks, Derek. We're gonna have to plug that into the AI as well. I'm like, I can make a trophy for anything now. Like, I have power that I shouldn't have been given.
Yeah, exactly.
The next thing I wanted to talk about, Doyle, Matt Doyle, MLSsoccer.com, armchair analyst.
When's he coming on?
Oh man, I don't know if he would.
Are we too small?
We might be too small time for that.
Wow.
He put out a big column, Western Conference and Eastern Conference transfer needs, biggest transfer need for every team as preseason begins. So he wrote one of these for every team in the league, but I figured we would read his one that he wrote on Seattle as the perspective of a national pundit, and then pontificate on if we agree or disagree real quick.
Sick.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Got to get 200 viewers for Doyle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Seattle Sounders. This is what Doyle had to say.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you can, but before you read it, he lists out the DPs, U22, 1 of 3, and then actually had the exact number of everyone's available game, which I thought was kind of
that's crazy.
Informative.
They have the spreadsheet that we don't have.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead. What did Doyle have to say about Seattle's biggest transfer need?
Hey, I'm Doyle. I'm an armchair analyst. I'm sitting here.
Is he Italian?
On my, I don't know what he is. I've never seen him. Hey, I'm Matthew Doyle. All right. Yeah, you might have heard of Tommy Scoops. Okay, he's my cousin back over from Italy. He likes to find things that fall off the back of the truck. Anyway, I'm the armchair analyst. Okay, the Seattle Sounders. They got 3 DP slots. They're taken. Pedro de la Vega, Jordan Morris, Albert Rusnak. U22 slots, they got 1 of 3. Taken up by the one and only Josh. Doesn't play enough games, Atencio. All right. They got 4.2 million GAM. How much GAM? Enough GAM that you could buy something or someone. With the additions of Jesús Ferreira and Paul Arriola for a huge chunk of GAM, and by retaining Rusnak, signed a 2-year DP deal, and João Paulo signed for 1 more year at something around $700,000, CSO Craig Weibel kept the most important parts of last year's Western Conference finalists together while adding top-end quality and depth to the team. That's going to compete across 5 different competitions. The floor is higher than just about anybody in the league. But what is their biggest transfer need? Here's what me, the armchair analyst, has to say. Seattle's roster doesn't have huge needs at this point, especially with Travian Souza attacking left back and Leo Burnley, center back. Keep the parade from Tacoma Defiance. Keep going towards the first team. I just had to cook up my own interpretation of that sentence there. The one spot you could maybe pick at is a central midfield. Even though that the Sounders are 6 or 7 deep, still, if you were betting on them using one of those open U22 slots somewhere, that'd be it. Though I wouldn't expect that to happen until the summer window.
Okay, so a couple things that I thought was interesting in this take from a national pundit. Number one, just the sentiment. The floor is higher than just about anyone else in the league. I think that seems to be the conclusion that those on the outside are coming to, which is that, and I think this is what we all kind of already knew, which is that this team has a very solid floor, but the question is all about the ceiling. But I think that's sort of where like the starting point of the discourse is. Like everyone understands that the floor is pretty solid, and the ceiling is the question. But I think it's something we forget about the roster build, or maybe haven't been acknowledging about the roster build. Is I think that's sort of intentional. Like this is about stacking depth more than about taking big swings for better or for worse. So I don't know if that's just what it made me think about that.
I mean, it's nice to hear that the national pundits think so highly of this roster. I mean, I think we both have been saying that it may not be the flashiest, it may not be the sexiest, you may not be getting that big signing, but all the pieces are there. And if they were going to be successful in this 5 competition season, the floor was more important than the ceiling.
Right. And that informed how they tackled it.
Yeah.
So I think what happened was like that was the approach that got taken, and that's not the approach that a lot of people like.
Yeah. Which it's fine to be tilted about that. Like it does go against the conventional wisdom for if you are competing for maybe MLS Cup or the regular 3. If you want to win your Shield, your Open Cup, and MLS Cup, absolutely. You want to be as top heavy as possible, and you want those top 3 to be performing in every single game. But you got 5 competitions, God knows how many extra games. The fact that you brought in depth, that's pretty sick. Like that's pretty sick.
The other thing I thought that was interesting is he name dropped Travion Sosa and Leo Burney, which Travion Sosa I really had not considered as a potential solution to this attacking fullback thing that we've been talking about for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping we at least get to see that with the first team, just to see if it would work.
Yeah.
Like I'm curious what he can bring to the table, and that's just a name. But I think both Travion Sosa and Leo Burney are names that are not getting talked about at all that could sneakily be getting more minutes than we realize. Especially Leo Burney, just the way that he's been talked about. But also, if you just look at his, he's the like Ivy League guy, right? Like, yeah. He's like all Ivy League smart guy. He's smart, Went to Penn, right? It's a good school.
Yeah, that's where Luigi Mangione went.
Anyway, those are I think those are 2 names right there that are worth like keeping in mind as like potential dark horse contributors. I want to see what Sosa can do. I think he could I think they might be onto something with that. Roca says he ain't ready, needs minutes. Yeah, minutes on the first team.
Yeah, you got to play.
And then he goes on to say that if he had to pick a spot, it would be central midfield. And that's where he thinks that at least one of the open U22 slots will go.
Which was kind of opposite. Well, Jeremiah did say that was a potential, but he was also saying an attacking type player might be in the world of a U22 signing. Where would you're Craig, you've got your bag. You're like, you know what? You got unlimited spend, buddy. Get ready to learn U22 signings. And here's me handing you the keys. Who are you picking?
I mean, I don't know.
Or where are you picking? Not specific player. Sorry.
I think it's got to be bolstering the striker group. I don't know. We'll see what I think what they might be doing here is giving the Moose thing just like one more chance.
Yeah.
They're like we're gonna just run that and hope that works to some sort of Will Bruin type effect. If not, then maybe we use the U22 right there. But I think the more I think about it, the more that's a pretty good place to spend it, because you can take a little bit of a swing, but have it be a developmental player that there's not as much pressure on necessarily. And then if it hits and it looks good, then great. But like if you miss on it, it's unfortunate, but not like the biggest disaster of all time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. As the resident Moose antagonist, do you have any other take other than striker depth for that?
No,
spot?
I love a striker depth. Buy low, buy young, buy potential.
Look what the Galaxy did with Jovic.
Well, yeah, then that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like there's so many options of where you can spend that, because that is your 9 is always going to be your most expensive position, right? Like that's just how it goes. Maybe a 10 of like a really good facilitator, but like your 9 is always going to be a pretty penny. And so I think, yes, signing U22, finding a diamond in the rough, maybe finding someone who has that potential but doesn't have all of the expectation on them. Yeah, that's great. I'm all for that. I think that that's the best way to do it. I'm wary of a U22 coming in and completely changing the game, but I do think it's possible. And I think that if you're going to sign a 9 and you want to have him for a longer period of time, and I mean, look at Jordan, dude. He basically was paid nothing for a very long time, and now he's the DP9.
You know who I wanted, man, was remember that guy that Pumas had when they were playing in
Leagues Cup?
Yeah. He just got like a huge transfer.
He got exposed by Paul Rothrock and then fucking dipped
Rothrock
out, dude.
Nutmegged him. But like that game where Seattle bammed on them in Leagues Cup, he was cooking.
Yeah.
Like before they gave up.
Cesar Huerta, exactly.
Cesar Huerta.
We won't show his highlights because we don't want to get banned.
The feds and the oligarchs are not coming for us.
Believe us.
We got another super sticker from Derek.
Thank you, Derek.
Derek's just
sticker man.
Super sticker and till his heart's content. Appreciate you. Yeah, Huerta. That would have been the all-time.
Anderlecht.
Okay, Roca has a name.
Sorry.
Roca has a name here.
Sorry, here you go. Oh my God, sorry. There you go.
Obando from Barcelona, 18 years old, reminds you of Oba Martins. Oh, and then there's another one from Botafogo. All right, you're on the scouting train.
Yeah, all right, Roca. Football Manager 2.0.
Sean Hendo. Did Nico ever hit you back, or should we just?
No, I didn't.
Does anyone know what's up with these Ruidiaz San Diego rumors?
Well, I mean, we can just read the tweet.
Did he tweet it?
He tweeted it, and then we can pontificate on our own, and
Yeah, we can talk about it if we think that would be a good fit.
Yep. All right. And then we'll do after this. Let's do Neymar.
Okay.
We got to do Neymar.
Yeah, we do.
We got to do Neymar, Ari. Nico, wait, hold on. I have to close my DMs here because Nico had his phone number in there, and I wasn't about to leak that accidentally. That would have been
don't leak Nico's phone number.
Okay, there we go. Sources: San Diego FC could be a landing spot for former Sounder striker Raul Ruidiaz. The new franchise is interested in adding an experienced quality attacker during their first season in Major League Soccer. I'm told San Diego is one of the 2 contenders within Major League Soccer to land RR9. It's all according to Nico Moreno, Arolo NW on Twitter. Go give him a follow.
That is not the team that first came to mind when I was thinking about where within MLS Raul might go. It felt like Atlanta was a pretty logical spot because they perennially have a need at backup 9, much similar to Seattle. They really are just like a different version.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
they're the deep south version of Seattle. But I was thinking that, and then they almost traded him to the Revs last year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought there might be smoke there. They ended up getting Campana, and then did you see today they signed Maxi Rudy?
Yep.
So they
that's a name I haven't heard in years.
I saw that today, and
I loved him when he was on Dallas. Dude.
I didn't know he's kind of an underrated like MLS lifer striker. He spent last year in Argentina, I learned today. But Maxi Rudy will get you like exactly between 6 and 9 goals. Never much more, if any more than that. But like he will get you that.
Yeah.
Although at his age at this point, not really sure what he has to give to the Revs. But
I mean, shout out.
As far as Raul, shout out. As far as Raul going to San Diego, I think that actually might be a good fit in the sense that one thing that people might not realize about Raul when he was on this team was like what kind of teammate he was, like the extent to which he really, more than any star player I've ever seen on the team, more than Dempsey, more than Oba, who really like weren't that type of guy. He would stay after training with the young guys. I remember when Alfonso Ocampo Chavez, remember him? When he was coming up, Raul, like I would look after training and Raul would be like giving him like tricks of the trade. And he loved doing that stuff for an expansion club. That's just coming in, like getting a veteran teacher who's got the savvy and the knowledge like that. Even if he's not the player he once was, I think there's value in that for an expansion side. 100%. And who knows, man? Maybe a change. The abruptness and the depth of the fall off was pretty surprising to me, considering how great a player this is. Maybe a change of scenery. I don't think, did he forget like how to finish? Like, I don't know. Like,
maybe.
I know, like, you know, your physical abilities decline gradually, but that was so fast. Maybe a change of scenery will like get back to being like close to a double-digit goal scorer. But
I can see the Universitario fans start harassing San Diego already. Yeah, they were up in the Sounders mentions for a long time, like free Raul.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that? Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably he came up. I mean, we talk about Nico all the time being such a great coach to younger players. Raul, the same thing.
They were, oh man, people don't know, man. People don't know.
That's
why, like, that's why the Raul slander last year, like, didn't sit right with me. Cause, like, I know he declined and he wasn't.
Well, I don't think anyone was slandering him as a like person or like what his
not as
value
a person,
was.
like,
it was his play on the field was dog shit.
All the dialogue around him was about how turbo cooked he was, which he was.
And then he was like throwing a tantrum because he was turbo.
He had a little insubordination incident,
which is a little bit ridiculous.
Have we all not been insubordinate at work once or twice?
Not when my ass ain't doing my job, bro. I'm sorry. Love Raul again. Raul, you are the greatest, but I'm sorry. Like, if my ass was performing like that, I'd be lucky to be getting the free team meal. You know what I'm saying?
Anything else on Ruidiaz to San Diego, or should we?
We're never leaving the Raul discourse. This is never ending.
I guess we're. Jeremiah wasn't down to get back into it, but we made him.
He was a little. Yeah, he didn't want to answer that. We ask the hard questions here. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I mean, so there was a report today of questionable credibility linking Neymar to the Chicago Fire, which that would be pretty funny. Apparently they like, it's another report that's not just like out of nowhere. Like there was like was an offer made. An offer was made. They talked to him about it. Here, I'll just give you my take on this, I guess.
Yeah. Well, here, let me introduce this, because what if we want to cut this for YouTube? This is good clickbait. I'm sorry. Yeah. But Neymar reportedly in talks to the Fire, Chicago. Will it happen? Will it not? Probably not. Probably not. This is another Rashford type deal, allegedly, according to the forces that be. Here's a little Blue Sky post. El Equipe has added to the Neymar to the Fire story, reporting the Fire and MLS execs met with Neymar's agent and father, with the Fire offering a deal similar to Messi's $20 million plus other incentives, and Neymar father wants so much more. Ari, you're yawning. You're like not even interested in what this is.
I have no idea how much smoke there is to the Fire rumors. I have no idea, but they should, even if this is a possibility, they should not do that, because it's not going to save them. It's not going to save them. The Chicago Fire are in such a deep hole that you're not going to Neymar your way out of it. You're not going to one signing like your way out of it. You might sell some tickets off that for a while, but like that stuff wears off. Like, look what happened with Insigne and Bernardeschi in Toronto. Okay. So if Neymar goes to Chicago and they're a total tire fire, which would be the most likely outcome, I think, then that would just, I mean, that's like almost like a worse situation than just doing your rebuild, minding your own business. The Chicago Fire need they need a floor. They need to raise their floor. They just need guys. They have to. Greg Berhalter has to rebuild their entire team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is how do you think, because obviously all the USMNT pundits think that Greg Berhalter is one of the worst coaches to ever exist. Imagine him managing Neymar. Do you even can you imagine that?
I mean,
because he was like a people pleaser kind of coach,
it
right?
made me think about the Zlatan days. Remember when Ziggy was coaching Zlatan? And I think that's actually a good example of literally the Galaxy of that era were kind of a joke. They signed Zlatan, and he scored a ton of goals.
Probably the best first opener, debut goal ever.
I think that's the best goal in MLS history.
Yeah, I agree.
He scored the best goal in MLS history. He was Zlataning all over the league, scoring that was that was the first time I've watched his games week in, week out consistently. And some of the goals he scored were just what the hell? What did I just watch? But their team, it did not really do much to change the fortunes of their team because there's so much else busted with the roster build. So I think when I see a move like that, I'm just it's not going to work. That's not going to work. I mean, Neymar that's what you do when you've got the foundation and you need to elevate your ceiling as it's a luxury piece. They need the foundational pieces right now.
So what do you think? Do you think that it's a good move to bring Neymar in? Let's say this reported number $20 million plus, Apple TV money, Marcus Rashford money, Leo Messi money for what is essentially a guy who has been playing in a bot league, a farmers league.
He also
Saudi.
Has he even been playing much the last couple years?
I thought he was injured.
Getting injured a lot.
Yeah. So do you really think that do you think that would be good value? Just for the league, not even talking about for the Chicago, put him on any team. Do you think that would be a good value for the league?
I mean, if he was playing and producing, yeah, sure. But the Fire shouldn't even really, I don't think they should be thinking about that. It's not the team that should be thinking about that. It depends what their ambition is, right?
Yeah.
Their ambition is to generate some buzz and get some more people to the games in the short term. Then maybe they think that's the reason to do it. But I guess it's my problem I have. I think of these things in terms of what's going to help you win games. Zlatan for all the goals he scored, their team was mid as hell when he was on the team. It was I got to watch him in person when the Galaxy came here and he was on the team.
Oh,
I've literally never seen a bigger statue on the field that when they were on defense, he didn't move.
Nope.
He literally didn't move. He would be all the way on the other side of the field standing there. They were defending a man down.
Yeah, they just wait. Yeah.
They were literally when he was on the team, they were essentially defending they had a red card whenever he's on the field. And then he would come out with these just insane Zlatan goals.
Which I think that's exactly what Neymar would do. I think he's looking for a payday. I think he's looking for his next Saudi move. And I just don't think that, respectfully, MLS has surpassed the Saudi league in terms of what they're willing to let you get away with. This is a competitive league where we've already seen. My favorite example of this is Pirlo. Pirlo was awful. I mean, that guy got clowned. He would just stand there. I remember one of my favorites.
He was so slow.
He was so slow. He watched a goal go in. He literally just watched the corner kick, didn't move, and it just goes in, and he's just okay.
He did hit some crazy dimes.
I'm not saying set pieces. And I'm not saying that,
but no, he was cooked.
Yeah,
Pirlo was famously cooked.
And I'm not saying that Neymar wouldn't hit a dime here or there, wouldn't have some great plays, and you wouldn't be able to sell enough jerseys and merch and ads to pay off his salary. But it's if you're talking about competitiveness, like you were talking about, he's a non-factor. He's a name. It's I really do think that MLS has passed this era. Messi, something different. That is one of the most popular, most famous, best sports players, period. Not just in soccer.
And look at what he drew, all the players he drew to the team.
Is Neymar doing that? No, Neymar's not drawing anybody. I'm sorry. No, Neymar's not drawing anyone. Maybe he's drawing Leo Chu.
Roca says he has 7 to 10 games in the past 2 years.
That's exactly.
This is stupid. They should not do this.
They should not do it. I mean,
I don't even know what we're talking about.
20+ million and many other incentives, and Neymar's father wants much more. I mean, that's not even a starter, man. Like, you want more?
Honestly, with the Shaqiri thing and how badly they've bungled their DPs and everything in recent years, they can't do this. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, they can, I guess, but
I mean, like, maybe it would work on Inter Miami if he's willing to, I
mean, they're getting everyone else, so that would, honestly, if I could have guessed a link of Neymar to the league, it would have been that. But they're still signing people, so
yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, sorry, Neymar coming to this league would be a joke. It would be offensive, and honestly, like, I hope it doesn't happen.
You're really, I mean, I would be okay with it happening, like, for the memes and the chaos, or I guess it wouldn't even be chaos. It would just kind of be depressing.
He's just washed. He's not even like a big name anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean,
what did he do once he left? What did he do at PSG? Nothing. He was bad. So that's my take. That's gonna be a good YouTube video right there.
Yeah, I'm sure. It'll be a good comment section. Noah, we did. I meant to bring this up on our Brandon Vasquez discourse. I thought he was doing well in Mexico.
Yeah,
I was under that impression. Apparently not.
Oh.
A bunch of people were pointing out that I think he must have started hot because
he did start hot.
I swear I remember like when he first got there, he was banging in goals. That's what I was going off of. Apparently he like really, really fell off, which hearing that, it kind of makes me question this $10 million bag that, I mean, like Vasquez is proven in the league. 10 million is a huge bag. They have a lot of other issues, and apparently he wasn't playing that well in Liga MX. So,
I mean, that's a tough one to square that peg. Like, what do you? I don't know. I still think he's a good signing though. Like,
Well, I wouldn't. I'm not that worried about him for them because he's definitely more than proven in this league. And sometimes when you go to a new team like that in a new league, you just don't adjust well. It's not a good fit, whatever the case may be. So I have no doubt that he'll be good and productive for Austin, but we took heat for that because we were talking about how he was playing well. You want to talk about some of the other stuff going on in the league, and then we can start wrapping up, Noah?
Yeah, let's do it.
2 hours here, got 87 people.
Let's
here.
do it. We can keep cooking as long as y'all want.
Yeah, we're good to keep cooking for a little while.
Should
we talk about the Timbies a little bit?
Oh yeah, guys, this is actually gonna be a YouTube video. So I need you to intro this somehow. Do you think you can come up with like a YouTube style intro here
about the just setting the stage?
Setting the stage for this convo here.
The Portland Timbers have been getting quite active this offseason, Noah, particularly in the last couple days. These are notable moves. They've traded Eric Williamson, who's been on the team for years, to Charlotte FC for nothing, for fake money, for like not that much fake money. They've signed a new defensive midfielder, a ostensive Diego Chara replacement named Joao Ortiz. And I think this is the big one. They've been linked reportedly to Kevin Kelsey, who was playing last year on loan for FC Cincinnati and was considered a pretty good striker prospect for them. And I think him being linked to the Timbies over there is notable. So I guess my question is, what do we make of these moves? Do we are the Portland Timbies capturing our attention with some of their wheeling and dealing?
The Timbers are rivals. The worst people on earth? We don't know. But are they cooking, Ari? Is that what you're trying to say? Are they cooking?
So when I saw they traded Williamson, I was a little surprised because he's a nice player. He just has a lot of injury issues. But every time they play Seattle, I always felt like he's a good player. And he was getting called into the USMNT and stuff before he did his ACL. He's just done his ACL a couple times. So that's but this Kevin Kelsey thing. Yeah, this is what I think might be most notable about this. If they can land him, I watched him a fair amount on FC Cincinnati last year, and I'll be honest, he was pretty impressive. He scored 6 goals, I think, in just over 1,000 minutes. But the types of goals he was scoring, I was like, damn, like he's like 6'4", just like a kind of a specimen, and looks like a beast in the air. So at first, when I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't know if I want the Timbies to have this guy, Kevin Kelsey. I don't know about that. But then I was thinking about it more, and I was like the Timbies' problem is not scoring goals. They could put Felipe Mora or Kevin Kelsey up top, and I think I don't know. I don't think it's going to look that different. I don't think their goal scoring numbers are going to be that different. Kevin Kelsey will probably score some goals for them. Their problem is defense and like game management. I think like the Timbies can lose control of a game with the best of them.
Yeah.
They've been a counterattacking team pretty much their whole MLS existence. And have scored a lot of goals that way. But I think like, especially last year, their undoing was trying to play that classic identity, and then just like their games were just chaos and anarchy, and you can't like live like that all the time. And it tanked their season last year. Kevin Kelsey, does he help that at all?
I don't know.
No.
Like I think there's so many more problems to address. And like I just don't even know if that I don't even think that addresses anything.
Yeah, like Felipe Mora is I think a fine striker. He's not great, but so someone in chat brought up the Evander thing too. Like we still don't know what's happening with that. Evander, I don't think Evander wants to be there. I don't think he wants to play.
No, he doesn't.
Like he's pretty much
we did this in another video. We did this in another podcast episode. They're publicly beefing. Evander is publicly beefing
right now as we speak.
Yeah, but like
currently
the beef is ongoing.
It's ongoing beef.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be currently.
It could
happening.
be.
I don't know.
Ned Grabavoy was probably the dumbest presser I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
The blaming. He was like, "Well, we have some people on our team here."
Oh my! I feel like I was taking crazy pills with that. That didn't get talked about by the.
We talked about it, and we were it.
Yeah, we were it. But like, that should have gotten way more press. That bothers me. That should have been a big story. Anyway, I do think that they needed to sign this like young D-mid guy because they are going to roll Char out there.
Oh yeah,
next year.
Oh, he's playing. He's playing.
Yeah. So and they're like this kid they signed a replacement is probably not even going to play. But
here's another thing that the Timbers on the Evander thing. There's been a lot of super sleuthing by the Timbers fans. They don't think he's in Portland at all. They reported to training. They don't think he's there. No one thinks he's there.
Is this like a Reynoso situation?
Yes. Where is he? Where is he? But
chat, where's Evander?
Where is Evander? Evander posted him training on his Insta, and it doesn't look like Portland.
That's a good segue actually, because there's been more of this going on this year that I feel like than past years. FC Cincinnati has Lucho and Luca Oriano. I think they're two best players, both holding out right now. Like neither of them reported to camp.
Yeah.
And it's like these are like everyone reporting is like mandatory stuff.
Yeah.
So Lucho and Luca Oriano are apparently beefing with FC Cincinnati. They're not reporting. Austin FC are in an insane beef right now with Sebastian Driussi. I was listening to Soccer Wise today. Tom Bogue said that River Plate and Austin FC have a deal right now for River Plate to pay Austin $10 million for Driussi, which if Austin FC pulls that off, their new sporting director is like the goat of all goats.
Yeah.
If they can get a $10 million bag for a player that's openly talking about how he doesn't want to be there and they don't want him there.
Yeah.
And they're about to get 10 million. That pisses me off that they're
could have been Leo Chu.
They should pay consequences for feuding with their star player like this.
Yeah.
And instead they're getting $10 million. River Plate, like, don't bail them out like that.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Anyway, it's definitely like there's more than there's a handful of clubs right now that are kind of roiled in turmoil before with preseason just starting. I mean, you got the Timbies beefing with Evander, you got Austin beefing with Driussi, and River Plate funneling them $10 million for him. And then you've got FC Cincinnati with their two best players holding out. Hey, everyone reported to Longacres that I know of. Jesús Ferreira was late because he was at US camp, but he's on his way now. So at least they're not dealing with that stuff.
In San Jose got a new gate, so that's cool too.
Driussi to River, and Alan Velasco to Boca Juniors. Neither of these players. Okay, Driussi had an insane year in like 2022. He was arguable
nasty.
MVP that year. Outside of that 1 year, he's been mid at best. Last year he was like a no-show.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand why River is paying that for him. They
it
just
really
like
doesn't
really
make
want
sense.
him, but he only wants to go to that club. So.
I think MLS might be money laundering with the Argentine league a little bit. Like I genuinely think that they're money laundering. Like they are partially invested and are just paying these transfer fees to these other clubs to make it look like that's my new tinfoil hat anti Don Garber MLS #ProRel for USA take right there. What do you think about that?
I think that's a good take.
Yeah,
I wasn't really listening to what you were saying, but
that's good. Yeah.
One ear and out the other. What happens to LAFC if Bouanga is sold or traded?
They signed someone else.
Yeah, they just signed Bouanga
3.0.
Yeah. But they're gonna sell Bogus, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So LA. It's not good, guys.
That Bogus deal is
LAFC is about to get.
Deal.
They're about to get a bag. Yeah. Why would they pay $10 million at all?
I don't know.
For Sebastian Trees.
I don't know.
What the hell, man?
I don't get it. How could we not be so lucky? Well, I mean, we could have been. There were some Brazilian clubs that wanted to.
It would never happen to the Seattle Sounders that someone would knock on their door with a $10 million bag for a player that doesn't even fucking want to be on the team.
Late night hours of all of that. Jags, we already talked about Neymar to Chicago. You can scroll back in the video.
Unfortunately did talk about that.
Bro said unfortunately.
It devolved into my takes on the nuances of the Chicago Fire's roster build, which I don't really think that's what people wanted from the Neymar discussion, but that's what I gave them.
Yeah.
So
I did have one segment idea that I didn't write in the doc. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, we're chilling right now.
All right. I saw this question from one of our loyal viewers here. Jake asks, can we just win one trophy? There's been a lot of pontification around. I've heard Jeremiah say it's possible. I've heard people say it's not possible. I say this is the worst squad that they've ever seen. It's the best squad they've ever seen. Ari, if you had to pick one trophy out of the 5 competitions that the Sounders are competing in, what trophy do you think the Sounders will win this year?
Oh, what they will win.
What they could win. What their best chance to win.
Their best chance to win. I think they have a decent shot at making a run in Champions Cup. I do. But I think other than that, I would say MLS Cup because they got reps in that tournament.
Yeah.
You know, they almost made it last year. The team on paper is better this year than it was last year. So I think those would be the two. Which one do I want them to win the most out of all of them? Okay, here's a question for you. Here's a question. Chat way in here. If you could pick one to win, I think this kind of has an easy answer. But if you could pick one between Champions Cup and Club World Cup,
well, yeah.
Prize money be damned, just on like what you think would be like.
If we won Club World Cup, that's earth-shatteringly impressive.
That would be one of the biggest soccer stories of all time.
Yeah, that would be.
They would make a Disney movie about.
Yeah, there would be a Disney movie.
Who would play Schmetz in the Disney movie?
Ooh, I think he should play. Would it be animated?
Play himself. Animated like a Disney cartoon?
Yeah, they'd sub in instead of Albert Rusnak, they'd have Messi on the team just because they needed to sell tickets. No, but I think go down. Let's just go down the list of let's start with Shield. Do you even think that there's a possibility that they win the Shield this next season?
This goes into what we were talking about with floor versus ceiling. I think Seattle's approach is really good for maintaining a consistent floor and giving themselves a chance to up their ceiling. But I think what it does is it takes you kind of out the running for the Shield. They're not really like a club. that's one criticism I think that I would have, or something that I wish I saw more of, is them being in the mix for the Shield. They won it in 2014, but I really think like a valid knock on their resume is that they have not had these like dominant, like over 2 points per game, pushing 65, 70 points, Shield winning type seasons. Like for how good their trophy case is, which it's excellent. It's the second best one in the league. And I think that's the most important thing. They have not been Shield merchants enough for like the type of club that they've been, I think. So, what was the question?
Well, it was just like, what do you, we were going to go down the list. Like, do you think
so?
I
don't think they're not really like a Shield club.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think that the Shield is, I don't think that it's possible in the West, honestly. And I definitely don't think that it is reasonable this season with the amount of games that they have.
Yeah, Letty pointed that out. Like that's there's so many games, which I think is going to be working against
And I
them.
don't think that the regular season winning the Shield is their goal, which I think is valid. It's a stupid trophy, to be honest with you.
Disc golfer, what's up, man? How you doing? I don't know who would play Schmetz, but John Goodman as Preki would be hilarious to me.
I love that.
That I don't think they their appearance is anything alike, but like the character wise,
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
Preki would need to be like an important character in the Disney movie, like just because. I mean, have you ever like listened to him talk? Like he's an interesting guy.
Yeah. Number 2. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
go for it.
Never been first in the West outside of 14 when they won the Shield. Exactly. They're like really good at being second through fourth in the West.
Yeah, that's their bit.
Yeah.
Number 2, MLS Cup. You said possible.
Yeah.
Likely?
I mean, I don't know if you could ever say likely because MLS Cup is so random. But this team, okay, I got to look something up for you, man. I got to look something up for you. I looked up this recently on Transfer Market. This is Brian Schmetzer's record in the playoffs. Listen to this. This was eye-popping when I saw this. I knew it was really good, but listen to this. Once I pull it up, which is good content. No, we'll talk about something while I find this.
Brian Schmetzer is great, and our camera's laggy, and it might die, and I don't know. What's the battery looking like up there?
Why can't I find it?
I don't know.
All right. Well, it's really good, needless to say, and I'm going to find it, but it's going to take me a second.
Well, content is king here on YouTube.com.
It's getting late. It's getting late.
I'm working late because I'm a singer.
Oh,
he looks so cute, wrapped around my finger. My twisted humor, make you laugh so often. What? My honeybee, come get this pollen. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I got it.
All right. It's because the camera's not working well because Ari's on another tab. It's a whole thing.
Oh,
we've got a little bit of a busted setup, but it's okay. One day we'll have a real stream here.
I don't know how to use Transfer Market anymore, but his winning percentage in the playoffs is something like 850 or something, dude.
Damn.
Like I'll never like bet against him in the playoffs. But he is the best playoff coach in MLS history.
Yeah.
Like no question about it. Like you saw it this last year, like making a run with the roster with all the DPs not playing and stuff. Like it's just I don't think there's any doubt about it. But unfortunately,
we're just give it up. We're chalked on our camera here.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why it does that, but next up, Open Cup. Do you think they'll even play in it?
Should we just assume that they?
Let's just assume that they play in it.
I just don't see like with all the other stuff that they're playing in, like dude, they should. I know there's like this is a polarizing topic. Some people get like really mad when they play Defiance kids and Academy kids in the Open Cup. That's what they should be doing, in my opinion. I'm so on the opposite side of that. I don't understand when people get really upset about the Open Cup lineups. Like that is especially a tournament that you've won 4 times. I'm not saying that you shouldn't care about it, but like I thought it was great to see the Rienzi, wasn't that kid score the game winner in a goal and then them win the PK shootout?
Do the flip.
Those are like really good. I don't think you can overstate how much those reps mean to like young players to get them experience in those like elimination settings. Open Cup is like perfect for that. You might not win it, but like you can get like great value from it. And like, I don't know, people like you need to prioritize every trophy. And like, yes, but when you have 58 games coming up, like they should play the young guys in that. So no, they're not going to win that. Even if they're playing it.
I agree. Like don't stress your team out to win what is it? 5, 6, there's 6, whatever it is. Like you have so many already. You have bigger fish to fry. Like that's whatever. So we went Shield, Cup, Open Cup. Now let's go Leagues Cup. Do you think they even take that seriously?
I mean, they made a final in it and they made it pretty far last year and they were playing like relatively strong lineups in it. And they had some really good games until the LAFC game, which famously did not go very well in that tournament. I actually think that a run in Leagues Cup is decently possible / likely. I mean, it's a good tournament team, and
I think are they doing home and away now in Leagues Cup? The format is going to be completely changed.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure off the top of my head.
I don't think it's been fully announced, but the format is different. It's not all in the US, I believe.
Anyway, they've been pretty good in Leagues Cup since it started. So I think that's like not a unreasonable shout.
Yeah, no, Leagues Cup would be interesting to win. I still don't think that they're going to focus on that. Like, I still think that it's going to be one of those where they start to take it seriously if they get out of the group. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might even see a rotated lineup in the group stage if that's how it goes. Like, I don't know. I think that that's going to come at a point that's going to be pretty critical. And they've got Club World Cup, so they might not even play in Leagues Cup, which transitions us CCC, CONCACAF Champions Cup. This is what I think the Sounders are going to try and go for this season.
And I think it's what they should.
I think it's what they should as well. I actually think, I agree with you. I think they have a really good chance of winning this. I've been saying it. People said, oh, the path is so hard. The path is so hard. I'm sorry.
Path's always hard.
It's always hard.
Always hard.
It's always hard.
This easy path stuff, man.
It's like I'm sorry, if any team's gonna do it, the Sounders did not lose in Mexico. People said, "Oh, it was an easy path when you won the Club World Cup." They didn't lose in Mexico. They did not lose a game. They went to Mexico. They played. They did not lose a game.
They got some of the best results an MLS club has ever gotten in that run on the road in Mexico.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah. Because they went on to win the tournament. So you look back on those results and you're like, wow, like those PKs that Freddie was hitting, João Paulo winning the penalty in Mexico, Nico icing one like at the last second of the game.
Yeah.
That was big time stuff.
And now you have the captain of the Caribbean, the pirate, the man himself, Jesús Ferreira. That dude only scores goals on Central American clubs and Caribbean nations. That is his MO.
That's a great point that hasn't been talked about is, people have been saying that the Jesús Ferreira signing represents a lack of ambition because he was not as good as they wanted him to be for the USMNT. He only scored against like bad CONCACAF teams. I mean, that's perfect for CCC, is it not? Like, I think Jesús Ferreira might be a sneakier X factor in that tournament than we're even thinking about.
Yeah, no, I think this is like, I really do think that it is possible that they win that trophy. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying if there is any trophy that this club could win this year, I really do think that is what they are going for. And I really do think that if they get within smelling distance of that trophy, do not be surprised that they make the final. Do not be surprised if they win. If they get the sense that they can win that trophy, this team turns into a different monster. And if anyone is going to be able to coach them to that, it's Brian Schmetzer.
Deep run in Club World Cup or win CCC. Club World Cup.
Win CCC.
Club World Cup to me is about competing with dignity, not embarrassing yourself, not setting your club in the league back a decade or more by totally going out there and tanking. If they go out there and they play well and are competitive and score a couple goals and put on just like a good dignified showing, to me that's a successful Club World Cup. I do not really give a shit how the games go. I don't. I'm not gonna like get bent out of shape if they lose to PSG. I don't really like I can't wait to hear how not ambitious they are when they lose to freaking PSG and Atletico Madrid, you know?
Well, it's at the end of the day, it is a showcase tournament. Like, I know that FIFA wants it to be something different, but it is a showcase tournament. Like, there are a lot of clubs in the that's what it is. MLS is taking it that way too. They want to be represented the best possible way that they can. They want to show off Messi. They want to like do all of this stuff. It's a showcase tournament. Winning it is awesome. Getting an invite is more important. That's what I'll say. Like, being invited is 10 times more important than winning the tournament.
Oh, the camera's out of battery. All right. We're going to keep going for a little longer. They can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to keep going for a little longer. We just always have to switch out this cable. So sorry about that. Technological difficulties here. But we will be back on the feed shortly. Still got 78 people here, Noah. How cool is that? 2.5 hours in. I think this might be our longest one ever.
Definitely.
Maybe too long, but that's kind of what's cool about the live shows. We can just let her rip. Here we go. And we're back. We are back. Advancing from the group from CWC would be the greatest accomplishment by any MLS team ever.
Correct. Well, here, let me tee this one up too. Like, so now the final, the ultimate Club World Cup. Is it happening? Are we winning it, Ari?
Oh, if they make it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Probably not.
No.
Like, would they be playing?
No, there's no way.
I don't
even care. I don't
care. And I'm really like, I don't think they're going to make it out of the group. I think it's, like you said, more of a showcase event than anything. I think really it really bothered me at the last Club World Cup when they lost to Al Ali and it became this referendum on the club and on MLS. You had Sounders fans talking about how embarrassing that game was. Fuck that, man. They played Al Ali straight up. It was a like hard fought competitive game, two teams going at it. Al Ali got the dub. GG's. Like, not everything has to be a referendum on like the league or the ambition of the club, you know? Like, so I don't know. That discourse is coming if they don't make it out of the group. You know it is.
I know, but
people are gonna say that they embarrass themselves if they lose to PSG. That's
it's just it's silly. The whole thing is dumb, and I really don't. It's cool that we got invited. That's all I'm going to say. It's like we are the only Major League Soccer club that has ever been to 2 Club World Cups. We are the only
team that's ever been to one.
We're the only one that actually has genuinely qualified. We earned it. I'll take that all day. That's more bragging rights than win. Yeah, sure. If we win it, that's awesome. But the thing is, people are going to be like, oh, well, these Euro teams didn't bring their best. All these other
there's going to be a standard that's impossible to meet because if they do get good results, it's going to be because the other team wasn't trying.
Exactly.
So you're not going to get credit.
Yeah, I don't care about this tournament. I don't. It's going to be fun to go to. I'm going to go to all the games. I'm going to be there. I'm going to experience it. It's going to be a fun appetizer for the World Cup being here. But realistically, like, it's so stupid. It's a showcase tournament. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the guys are genuinely excited to play in it. And it is, it's kind of fun from our perspective, from a content perspective. Like, I feel like there's more pressure on the team this year in a lot of ways than there is just even in your average year. There's always pressure with this team. It's one of the more high profile teams, a big market for the game. So there's definitely every Sounders season you go into it and there's pressure on you. But like this year, there's pressure on them from the fan base to score more goals after the offensive showing last year. There's a ton of pressure on De La Vega to contribute to that. There's a ton of pressure on Jesús Ferreira to come here and show out. And there's pressure on everyone being one of the teams that's representing the entire league on a global stage at the Club World Cup and then also playing in CCC. So it's going to be intense, but it's going to be fun. And like this is like why it's cool getting to do this like in Seattle with Seattle, man. Like the teams that are going to, the fan bases that are going to be talking shit to you guys when Seattle doesn't make it out of the group of the Club World Cup, all you have to ask them is why their club wasn't in it. Yeah. That's all you have to, and they can't say anything.
Yeah. Like, and if their club was in it, like you just say it was a Mickey Mouse Showcase tournament. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah. If you do poorly, it's a Mickey Mouse Showcase tournament that doesn't matter. If you do well, it's the most important tournament that they play for, and the trophy means everything.
Jack says, I care a lot. I know we'll lose those games, but damn, I'm hyped anyways. The fanfare will be insane. Such a big moment.
That's
and also,
right attitude.
This is the biggest thing to ever happen to the Sounders, full stop. So you're a little flip-flopped on that, but you know, I like this take here more than I like the biggest thing to ever happen to the Sounders. Because honestly, being the first club in MLS history to ever win CONCACAF Champions League is the biggest thing that happened to the Sounders, because that is how they got here. I really do think that game is going to be very, very, very hard to ever beat as a team.
I think so. I think that's probably the biggest game they'll ever play in because of everything that was on the line, historical implications, and the fact that they got it done at home. But these are going to be big games. Don't get me wrong. A lot of big games coming up this year.
You know who's finally going to get that transfer to Europe after shutting down Barcola? Yeah.
I mean, we say that every time.
Yeah.
Remember AFCON? Remember that? He pocketed Mo Salah. We will sell him for the largest bag that has ever been sold.
With that, should we leave it there, Ari?
Put on the lo-fi. Let's
take a few more questions.
Take a few more questions. Hang out for a little bit. I liked the. Or did you put on lo-fi?
Yeah, I hit the lo-fi.
I did. I was doing. It was either daydreaming or like driving at night or something.
Ooh, driving and night driving. I like this one.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and get your last questions as we wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us for 2.5 hours. Much appreciated. Jason, will Sounders use Fry more in different tournaments and Thomas more in league play?
Could be flip-flopped.
Well, but if they're making a run in, I think Fry starts in CCC. I think those games are that you play your one. You play your one there. But I do think because of that, you might see Thomas more in league play. I certainly think if they're in Open Cup, you'll see Thomas a lot. I'm calling him Thomas. Andy T. You're going to see Andy T a lot. And in Leagues Cup, I certainly think you might see Andy T. I think Leagues Cup is low-key another one where you can kind of like experiment with lineups, play the young guys. And if they lose in Leagues Cup, I personally don't care that much.
Yeah.
It would be cool if they make a run. The only capacity I care about them winning Leagues Cup is that they haven't won it yet. So if you win it, then it's like, all right, we've won that one too, you know. And the more years that they play that tournament, that could theoretically mean something. Kind of doesn't right now with it being in the first like couple years of it, but
it's still tight.
Most recent podcast was a banger, by the way. Thank you, Disc Golfer. We got a like good response on that.
Yeah, people really liked our disagreement.
Yeah, maybe we need to disagree more.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people get mad and toxic when they disagree with us, but that was like good discussion. That's what I like about our community, Noah.
Yeah,
like,
we have fostered a good community
we beef, here, but like not toxically. Super fun when you guys aren't quite on the same page and can have a good discussion. Yeah, I agree. I've been kind of.
That's why we work so well living together, Ari.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and like I've been trying to devil's advocate more, even if I don't necessarily.
We're trying to debate Lord.
Yeah, debate Lord.
Yeah.
Any Tacoma players, fringe first teamers you all want to see more of from Bennett? We've been saying Bradilio.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else? I know there. Oh, we were talking about
Georgie.
Well, Georgie, but he's like honestly like a full-on first teamer at
That's
this
true.
point. The two names that came up earlier, Bennett, were Trevion Sosa and Leo Burney.
Yeah.
Patrick, hot take: Craig should fleece Dallas again and sell them De La Vega to replace Velasco and play Georgie. That is a hot take. De La Vega getting traded to FC Dallas would be a good bit. I don't know. Maybe I think I'm just delusionally holding out hope.
You're definitely a De La Vega truther.
Well, some people there's a brigade for that. Actually,
Really?
I'm not really like.
You're leading the brigade. You created the group chat, Ari.
You
did.
You did. That brigade.
Yep.
It's what I want to see happen, not what I like necessarily think is.
Bro, we watched we were like after one of the streams one night. We were just on YouTube, and there was a Pedro de la Vega highlights video.
Yeah,
and
2024 season highlights. Go look that up on YouTube. It's a good watch.
It was one of the funniest videos we've ever watched. Like that shit was hilarious. But
there was some good moves on there, but then there's some of it where he's like he's like dribbling and then passing it to a guy who's right next to him.
Yeah.
Derek,
thank you
again, man. God, you're
pumping us up.
You're pumping us up. We hit the 5 super chats. They were all from the same person.
They were, but it worked. I wanted to do this one. Who gets more goals, JF or Jordan? I'm ready to make a declaration.
Yeah, we've been asked this, but we
I've been tiptoeing around it.
No, make your declaration.
Jordan Morris will have more goals than Jesus Ferreira, but Jesus Ferreira will have more goal contributions. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay.
Like total, goal assist.
Yeah. I think last time we were asked this, I said Jordan more goals, Ferreira more assists. I think that a sneaky part of Ferreira's skill set that is a very, very abundant part of his skill set that isn't getting talked about as much as his goal scoring is his play as a facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you guys, man, like he is very unselfish. He's a good passer. He's a willing passer. He combines with other players. He's very adaptable. So like he can play with all different kinds of players. And at FC Dallas, he was going out there in all kinds of different positions, all different kind of lineups. And until last year when he had the injuries, he still excelled. So I just think like the upshot of this move, as much as the goals, is just how he's going to fit in the team, how he's going to help the offense run, how he's going to combine with the other guys. Like, I've been seeing some people talking about, like, leaving comments about how they're not excited for the season. They're not excited to watch the team. I don't get that at all.
Then don't.
Then don't.
Then don't.
I can't wait to see how, like, this roster takes shape with how this team actually plays, like, with Ferreira in the fold, and theoretically a energized and motivated De La Vega.
Yeah.
And also, like we were talking about with all the, how could you not be excited for CCC?
Yeah.
Like what? I don't know. I saw
Club World Cup. Even, you know what I'm saying?
There's like a brigade that are where like the take is to be like against, like too cool for the Club World Cup. Like,
I see.
Like not caring about it is like cool.
That's fire.
So that's a thing.
I dig that.
But
where does Rothrock fit in this roster now? More of a backup with some starts? ?
Yeah, I think so.
TBD
and,
maybe.
I think like more of a spot starter, but like I love his skill set as a super sub.
Dude, yeah.
Like I think just the energy and like pest kind of like both of the Pauls are just have that like nonstop energy that'll just like Arriola, honestly, coming off the bench. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like so it is I don't think we're gonna get to see Paul Rothrock start week in, week out like we did last year, but there's definitely.
But you never know. Someone will get injured. Don't you worry.
Well, don't
you worry.
And squad rotation and stuff, like he'll get his minutes. But like to me, he earned a role on this team. Like not like a bit part. Like
I genuinely think that because it's Brian Schmetzer. If you work your ass off in training and you look better than another player, he doesn't care about what salary you're on.
Yeah.
And I really do think if Pedro's not there yet, he's going to be coming off the bench, and you may have a situation where Rothrock starts.
Oh my God! Imagine the shows that we're going to be recording.
I'm just saying, like, I genuinely do think that that's a possibility.
The thing about Rothrock is that I think, especially towards the end of last year, he was showing a lot more like nuance and like refined nature to his game, especially with just
his movement off the ball is incredible.
And on the ball, the runs he was making and his delivery from out wide, it looked like a freaking DP winger, man. Like, I'm not like just saying that to blow smoke. Like, it looked great.
And I want to see him play with Jesús Ferreira, because they're both such like visual space people. Like they have eyes in the back of their head. They can feel the field. Like there is a type of player where that is the case, and both of them are like that. And having two of those people on the same page together, playing together, especially if you link them up on the same side, like if you do a dual striker thing or have him playing oh my God, this is what my dreams are made of personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna get enough Rothrock minutes to see some of that stuff, just because of the fixture congestion and all the tournaments and injuries, international duty, all that. And I mean, you all know how much we enjoy watching Paul Rothrock.
Yeah.
After talking about how people weren't excited for this season, I'm getting like more excited for this season.
I know. Now we're stoked. Do we win out in preseason?
I haven't looked at the
it's not out yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's some team we're playing.
They're gonna lose a preseason game to like a second division Spanish side,
and then everyone's gonna be like, we're done. It's over.
The ambition is there's no ambition with the preseason.
We're playing Kanalapan 1915, a Swedish team, as one of our games. That's the only one that's
Spain?
been like.
That's who they're playing in Spain.
Yeah,
playing number 1 in Hungarian league.
So we're losing. Sure.
Is that the one that didn't Henry Wingo play over there?
Oh yeah, I think so. Someone like that.
Puskas
Academia.
They're academic.
Okay, the Puskas Academy. That's fire.
Academy.
That's fire.
I was thinking they were like a scholarly team.
January 23rd. Man, we're really starting already. Ari, we need more super chats and members so we can fly over there. How much do you think a ticket is over there right now? Probably way too much.
With 8,000 super chats in the next 5 minutes so we can go to Spain. I'm gonna go on their preseason trip one of these years. Just probably not this.
We're going to Miami, right? Can we just confirm that right now?
I'm pretty committed. Who's going to Miami?
Because I asked the time off of work. I have it off.
Okay, I mean it's my birthday, so I can do it.
Let's get an Airbnb. I
have a homie down there.
Oh.
So, but I mean, we could still.
You should get an Airbnb with me so we can
split it.
Yeah, and because we can get Jeremiah, I'm sure he'll come too.
I just feel like that. I feel like the Sounders playing Messi, like on my birthday week, or like 2 days for my birthday.
Yeah,
that is the soccer gods telling me to go. Telling me to go. I've seen Messi in person when he was here for Copa with Argentina, and I think I've told this story on the pod, but I actually got to like stand right up next to him because I was writing a story about the academy kids that were the Sounders Academy kids that were standing in as practice dummies. So my story was like interviewing them about what it was like standing in at practice with Argentina national team and Messi.
That's fire.
So I got to actually go in their training session, which was closed off. That's when they put up the things the covers at Starfire.
I remember
I actually got to go in there, and Messi was standing probably 10, 15 feet away from me. And that was definitely a crazy moment in my life. And then you were at the Copa game, right? I
was at the Copa game, and I was at that practice as well, actually.
Oh yeah, we talked about.
I was taking pictures.
You were at that practice.
Yeah. No, I have a photo that I took of Messi where I was like here, and he was like right there in front of me. And at this point, I'm still playing soccer. I was 2016, right? So I was 16, and I was like, holy shit! It was like a magical moment as a child. Well, I wanted to note too you talked about Zlatan being this towering presence that just kind of stood there like a tree.
Yeah.
I was interning for Sporting Kansas City that year, or one of the years he was playing there, and he came and played. And after the game, I'm like taking pictures on the field, and I'm like walking backwards as two of the Sporting players are just, leaving the field. And I just like feel my back and butt like hit something, and I look up, and it's literally Zlatan Ibrahimovic towering over me with like 7,000 cameras around, like a video camera, and he just grabs my head and goes, just like, are you all right? And I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. It was like the scariest moment of my life. It was like seeing a literal giant. Just like looking at, he's just a massive man. Massive man.
Derek with another. Derek, honestly,
Derek
we might need to cut you off, man.
Derek, you're coming with us at this point.
Yeah.
Like, hop in the road trip.
You have more than fulfilled your.
Yeah, Derek is our super
quota.
chatter.
Lobbing Scorchers Airbnb road trip.
There we go. All right. Should we call it there, Ari?
I think that is about the end for us tonight, folks. Thank you all so much, as always, for tuning in. We love these live shows.
Yeah,
these
fun.
are a lot of fun, and they wouldn't happen if we didn't have all you guys hanging out with us. So we appreciate it. Went for almost 3 hours tonight.
That's crazy.
Noah has MLS experience. He loves to talk. Seth, ask him about his FC Dallas Academy days.
Oh boy, here we go. I actually am the reason that Jesús Ferreira deal got done. Yeah. It's my one thing.
Like, comment, subscribe, write us a review. Oh, you know what, you guys, everyone who's still here, what you can do if you haven't yet, drop a like on this video. That helps us out a lot.
And if you're not subbed. Like 60% of you who watch these videos are not subbed.
What is that? What is that? You're
know.
gonna watch our content but not sub?
That's crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
Okay. Seth, we're not gonna let.
Well, you don't need to get into it.
We'll get to that another time.
Here's what I'll say: washed, not that good. D team, bench rider. That's all you need to know.
Night, Rob. Thanks for hanging out.
Have a good one, Rob.
Thank
you, Derek. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you.
Yeah, so we'll probably when are we gonna put out another show? Probably pretty soon. And what we've been doing is putting our pod out like we normally would, and then kind of doing these live shows
on like Wednesdays.
Yeah, it's kind of supplementary content on whatever news that like we might have missed, or if there's stuff that we wanted to talk about but didn't. Or so I don't know. I think that is kind of the routine we're gonna be on for the off season going forward here. So you can expect us to be putting out more shows and streaming. We're gonna keep grinding. Anything else, Noah? SouterHeart.com.
SouterHeart.com/LS. That's it, I think. There. Yeah. All right, we're both gonna go to sleep now, I think.
We will catch you guys next time. Till then, we out.
Peace.